Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy
They
there.
got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
9 out of 10 judges prefer watching the Recovery Addict live stream in their courtroom.
The fireworks are not done.
Now we're getting commentary on the case. Dati mihi Anglican for I didn't ask you to interrupt me.
Scratch all that. Oh, that was terrible. I apologize.
Good morning and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Ooh, it was a little rushed this morning. We're rushed because court is starting. So we've got a lot of things to do. Just a whole bunch before we can get there. Happy Monday. Hope you guys had an absolutely wonderful weekend. So I'm still focusing cameras and connecting cables here. We will be jumping to court, to jury selection in just a minute. Judge's not here yet, so we've got just a minute to get the stuff done. This is live, by the way. Everything is live today and this week. So, super excited to be here with y'all. Let's see, we've got first in chat, Naughty PM, Goof, or good morning. Good morning. Hang on. Before we do birthdays, I think he's going to welcome everybody and tell them what they're doing.
Good morning, everyone.
We'll do birthdays
Welcome.
in just a second.
Glad to have you here today.
We're glad to be here, Judge.
You've been summoned as jurors in the Warren County Court of Common Pleas. Case is State of Ohio versus Javon Spells. Mr. Spells is seated to my far right at council table with his attorney, Jeff Guyman. The state is represented by Brian Goodyear.
Good morning.
Mr. Goodyear, who is your designated representative?
Sir, this is Trooper Matthew Caldwell.
Good morning, Trooper.
Good morning.
This is a criminal case that you will hear. We'll talk a little bit more about it in a few minutes. We anticipate no more than 2 days. I anticipate possibly 1 day. We have 3 witnesses for the state. It's up to the defense if they call witnesses at all. So we're not going to rush through it, but I don't think it'll take 2 full days. Seated in front of me is Dina Schlim. She's our official court reporter. She takes down everything that's said. And there will be a transcript of the proceedings available. To my right is Taylor Snelling, who works for the clerk of courts. They're in charge of notifying you, sending you summons, bringing you in, and then Taylor will leave once we have the jury sworn. Not that she has to, but I think she's got other things to do. And who do you have with you here? Oh, that's right, yeah. Brandy Fisher is our bailiff. She is here in the striped shirt.
Okay, well, he does the introductions. We're going to cut away.
Attending to all your needs, making sure you're all together in and out of the courtroom. Bethany Blair is a judicial assistant. She helps do just about everything as well.
Okay, we're going to cut away for just a minute while he's still introducing everybody in the courtroom. Josh, thank you very much for putting together the birthdays. Thanks for finding this case for us as well. Red Pen, thanks for the thumbnail. And I think Legally Blonde has been making some thumbnail submissions as well. So thanks to everybody who makes this all possible. We're going to sing happy birthday to those who are celebrating today. Angela. I'm just going to say Angela because Angela, you know I mess up your last name. Georgievic is what I'm going to say. Angel Watcher, Carol, Noreen, and Sarah. We're all going to sing to them. So please, everyone, wherever you are, stand up, take a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbor, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Angela, Georgia Vic, Angel Watcher, Carol, Noreen, and Sarah. Happy birthday to you. First try. Happy birthday, Angela. I know yours was on Sunday. So happy birthday. I hope you're having a great one. Keep celebrating all weekend long. We are early this morning. Yes, court starts early, so. But on the bright side, we've got Thanksgiving off, and maybe Friday as well, Black Friday. So y'all can get your Christmas shopping done. To all those who are celebrating their birthday today, thank you very much. I realize there are a million places you could be and a million people you could have been with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor, the joy was ours. It still is. Hopefully we can turn that back to you, make your day a little more specialer. Begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Denny's, IHOP, Village Inn, Waffle House, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlap's House, Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, and Cracker Barrel. There you go. Angela, Angel Watcher, Carol, Noreen, Sarah. Happy birthday. They found Morgan Geyser. Oh my goodness. Why did they let her go in the first place? Yeah. Morgan Geyser, made famous from her crime she committed at the age of 12 years old to appease Slender Man. Got placed in sort of like a halfway house where she took the opportunity to cut off her ankle monitor and make a run for it. Luckily, they found her. Had some people on edge up in the Great Lakes region. All right. We are going to be returning to court here in just a minute after the drum solo. AC's Wildflower in honor of Grandma AC's to my Wildflower, who would have been 114 this weekend. That's awesome. 114 this weekend. That would have been an amazing birthday. We'll do a big special drum solo just for her. Here we go. That was the most vigorous I've ever done it. I just pounded. You've probably heard it. Probably hurt your ears. Let's jump down to court here. Really. And
so, how many of you have served on a jury before? Okay, that's a lot. Good.
Good.
Ms. Mohan?
And you came back.
What type of case was that?
I think it was, like, did this person trespass on this property or not?
Okay, probably a misdemeanor in one of the municipal courts?
I think it was in this court. I just don't exactly remember, unfortunately. It was something, like, not huge.
Okay.
DAPS training. Thank you very much. 21 months on the jury.
No.
That's awesome.
Must have been a remarkable experience.
OG. AC's Wildflower.
How long ago was that?
You also are an OG?
About 3 years.
Okay. When you finished, did you find that your service as a juror was a rewarding experience for you?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, good.
Good.
Ms. Prophet?
Yes.
What type of jury did you serve on?
It was criminal.
Okay, in this court?
I'm not sure which one.
Warren
It
County?
was 13, yes, it was.
Okay.
It was 13 years ago.
Okay. Did you find it to be a good experience to be able to participate in the
Yes
government?
and no. I was pregnant at the time, so I was quite miserable.
Okay.
But
Samantha, have a
yeah, I
wonderful
always
day.
wanted to serve, so yes, it was a rewarding experience.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right.
This judge looks like Liam
Ms.
Nielsen.
Levin, did you raise your hand?
A little bit.
Levan?
Got a very particular set of
Mine was in
skills.
Montgomery County, like, more than 10 years ago. It was a drug possession case.
Okay.
And
Same.
no, it wasn't especially rewarding.
It did not?
It was not.
Well, I'm not talking about necessarily the
outcome.
Crime that was, or the trial itself. It's just being able to participate in our system of justice.
We've got an attempted murder.
Ordinarily, I wouldn't mind, but this week is bad.
Okay, it's going to be better here. First of all, you don't have to pay to park. You don't have to walk a mile to the parking lot. Okay. The jury process began over 800 years ago with the signing of the Magna Carta, where people were starting to rebel because of what the king was doing. We don't like kings in America. We have a Declaration of Independence that basically stated that, and it defined a rebellion.
Because we here in Canada,
and we have a trial by jury where we have people from across the community come in and make decisions. It's something that young men and women have fought for to protect, that part of our Constitution since the country was born 250 years ago. Many have given up their health, the right or the ability to be there for the birth of a child, the ability to be at the death of a parent.
He's stressing the importance of the process.
Many made the ultimate sacrifice.
Before he asks them why they can't serve.
So this is also a part of your duty as a citizen. It's your civic responsibility to serve on the jury. So there are statutory reasons that people can be excused, and we do have just some discretion, but missing work is not one of them. Everybody is important. Everybody's job's important. We understand that, but just missing work is not one of the reasons.
Vegas has
some of the reasons. If it's something that's going to have a significant impact on your life, like if it's your first day on a job, something like that, something unique, then we can probably make an exception. But as a general rule, missing work is not a reason to be excused. So just keep that in mind as we go through this.
Don't want to hear none of yours. I'm important at work. Excuses, says the judge. I love this process. Thank you, Josh, for the background. Javon Spells is charged with harassment.
We have 2 prisons in this
substance.
county. So we get cases from the prisons. If there's a misdemeanor alleged at the prison, they take care of it internally, I think. That's a fair statement, isn't it? Yes.
I don't think
I've ever seen a misdemeanor. But all felonies come here. To my knowledge, all the felonies that I guess that they feel that should go to court come here, Warren County Court of Common Pleas. It's a diverse group. Often we have people who are African American, and they walk in this courtroom and there's not a single African American in the room. Have you have any of you ever been to a foreign country where you did not, for example, speak the language?
What's he getting at here?
So, did you at any time have the feeling that I would not want to get in trouble over here because I'm not sure I'd be treated right? I did in Mexico when I saw the police standing with machine guns on the corners. I just thought, what would I do if I got in trouble for or accused of something? How many of you are familiar with the term implicit bias? Okay, 2, sort of 3 or 4 out of 12. It's basically, the reason I talk about it is because it's not something you can ask someone about because you don't know you have it. That's what the word implicit means. It's an unconscious attitude or stereotype that affects our understanding, our decisions, our actions. It's unintentional, unknowingly. And basically it's our brains are wired because our brains like to make quick decisions. And it's a shortcut. And it's biases that are automatic, ingrained. and influences how we perceive and interact with people from different groups, cultures, or backgrounds. Why am I spending time talking about this? Because it's really important. It's really important. Again, it's not about being intentionally prejudiced. I call that to your attention so you will be aware that we all have some implicit bias. So when it comes to race, and you'll hear evidence that Mr. Spells is serving some time here in our county, you don't automatically presume that he's guilty. As a matter of fact, you're required to presume that he's innocent. And that presumption remains with him unless the state can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he committed the act for which he's charged. And I think it's fair to say he's charged with doing the same thing that Jamar Chase did a week ago, right? He's charged with, it's called harassment with a bodily substance, spitting on someone, right?
That and then the context of where it took place, yes.
Yes, okay. So that's the charge, harassment with bodily substance.
You just
Why
said
is that a felony?
He's
it's
charged
a felony if you do it in the prison.
with something that
and
someone else did
reasons,
a week ago?
But basically, if you throw something on or spit on someone in the prison on a guard, it's a felony. That's why you're here, and it has a prison term. And if you're in prison, it means you're in prison longer. And that's the law. It's the law you're required to follow. And
I think we're in the weeds here, and
you don't really
not
question why it's that case. That's the situation. You just follow the law. And if the state proves this beyond a reasonable doubt, then you have to find Mr. Spells guilty. However, there are elements to each charge in a case, and if the state fails to prove beyond a reasonable doubt any particular element of a case, then you're required to find him not guilty. Are you all comfortable with that concept? Okay.
Okay, I realize Jamar Chase is a football player.
The state has 3 witnesses that will testify, and
relating
Mr.
that
Viewers
to
indicated
this, I
these
think
are
was
not
wrong.
3-hour witnesses. And sometimes you have that. But that's why I said I think we'll finish this sooner than 2 full days. The defense...
No, Travis Kelce.
Sometimes they don't decide whether or not they're going to call witnesses until they've heard the testimony of the state. They may decide there just isn't enough proof there. They may not have any witnesses to call, and it's up to them after hearing the evidence whether or not Mr. Spells will testify. That's between him and his attorney. You cannot consider why someone, if Mr. Spells chooses not to testify, you cannot consider the fact that he didn't testify. You cannot discuss it in your deliberations, and you can't hold it against him because he has a constitutional right not to testify. Keep in mind,
we're in Ohio on this one. Warren County,
Ohio.
Ohio.
Requires the state to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, and that will be what you decide. If they don't prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, it doesn't matter what he has to say. So that even if you feel they do, it's not something that is pertinent whether or not the defense testifies. There may be many reasons a person doesn't testify, even though they want to. There may be something in their background or from their experience that the state could ask them about that would maybe prejudice you or maybe cause you to think, well, if they did this particular act, they must have done this one. That's another reason, and it's strictly between Mr. Spells and his attorney as to whether or not he testifies.
Robert, yes, that's the case. This is a little wild that the judge is sort of freewheeling here.
Does anyone have a relative who's in prison or in jail? Yes.
My sister's in Warren
jail.
County.
Okay. Do you feel that would have any effect on your ability to hear the evidence in this case? People who are in jail generally for misdemeanors. They may be held temporarily on felony cases, but it's generally misdemeanor cases. Has anyone here ever been convicted of a felony offense? Okay, you have. Do you want to talk about it from there, or do you want to, because a lot of people have minor drug possessions, many minor drug possession cases are felonies, felony 5. If you'd rather come up here and talk about it, just come over here and we'll talk about it.
Where do I go?
Counsel approach.
Do you want to come up here and talk about your minor drug possession? So we're going to have a couple of these private times. Maybe you should count private time. I don't know. We need to count something in this trial. It's going to be a short one. The judge, it's like he's done this process many, many times before. He's a seasoned judge. He's so seasoned that he doesn't follow the script, and he seems to be wandering all over the place with where he's going, his mental process. It reminds me of Judge Schroeder a little bit in his style of talking, but he's not quite so verbose. Why did he refer to drug possession? Somebody said, yeah, I've got a conviction. Oh, well, a lot of people have drug possession things, so come on up. I think he said that because he's like, look, just because the person's coming up, don't think they're a mass murderer, okay? They might have been something minor like drug possession. I think he meant well, but what if this person was like, this was like the oddest situation that ended up being a felony that was like completely accidental and it wasn't anything, it could have been something completely less, I don't know, frowned upon than drug possession. He has no filter. He's already compared the defendant's charges to something you might have seen happen on TV. So you've got that visual image of, yeah, we know what that looks like.
Just
we
a
watch
couple
it on
more things from me, then you'll hear from the attorneys. I just went over this with someone, I can't remember who it was, but it was high school students. If you have a trial, do you think it's important to know what other things a person has done wrong or been that are illegal? Nobody has an opinion on that.
Nobody's saying anything.
Okay. One example would be for speeding. If you have a speeding ticket driving to work, you know you did it, and you go in, you pay your ticket, you have a speeding conviction. If you do it again a year later, you go in, you pay the fine, you have 2 speeding convictions. If you are driving down 71, you see a deputy with a laser on the side, you look down, you're doing, let's just say 65, speed limit 65. You get stopped, and there are other cars traveling. I know I was prosecutor in Mason for 26 years, so I've heard 1,000 stories, but you think the trooper must have measured the speed of the car that was actually passing you. And the trooper or the deputy doesn't think that's the case, otherwise he wouldn't have stopped you. He or she wouldn't have stopped you. But you feel you know you're right. So you want a trial. Do you think that someone would look at it differently if they know you already had 2 speeding tickets when you're charged with speeding? Okay, so generally that's not admitted in trial. And there are times when it can be, but it's an exception usually. So that's why you don't really hear about other things people have done. It's not relevant. The question is the case before you, has it been proven? Are you all okay with that concept? Okay.
That was a good example. I'm a fan of that one. Having had prior speeding tickets, I don't want to be judged.
That is all I have.
That's it.
I'll turn it over to Mr. Goodyear now for questions.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
As the judge told you, my name is Brian Goodyear, and I'm an assistant prosecutor in Warren County here. I work for the elected prosecutor David Fornshow. And we're here to talk to you about a case the judge mentioned, and I'll talk to you a little bit more in detail about it. But before I start, I want to thank everybody for being here. I always like to start by thanking people because, obviously, this is our job. We're here every day. You have to take time out of your lives to be here, to come down and serve as jurors. And I just want everyone to know that we certainly appreciate that, and everyone takes that very seriously, and we try and make sure we don't waste your time as we go through the process. So thank you for being here, especially knowing that today is the Monday of Thanksgiving. It's kind of an odd time to have jury service. And as the judge said, I think that you'll find that this case is not going to take most likely 2 days. It may just be done today. So we'll definitely be sensitive to the fact that this is the holidays and everybody wants to get on about their business, and we'll try and make this be as efficient as we possibly can. As we go through the process of voir dire jury selection, I may have some questions that you may feel are sensitive or personal. I just want everyone to understand the reason I ask these questions is simply that we want to make sure that we have fair and impartial jurors to hear this case. My intention is not to pry into your life. My intention is not to embarrass anyone. If there's ever a question that's asked by myself or defense counsel that you want to answer in private, we can certainly do that. I just hope everyone takes my questions with the intention I have, which is simply to get the information that I need to make sure that we get a fair and impartial jury. Okay? As the judge mentioned, to my right is Trooper Matthew Caldwell. He's one potential witness that the state has in this case. In addition, we have Captain Diana Payne. She works at Lebanon Correctional. She's worked there for roughly 20 years. She's another witness that the state will have. And finally, Megan Fox is a forensic scientist with the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation. Does anyone here know any of those people, whether Trooper Caldwell or any of the other witnesses? Okay. The judge mentioned this a little bit, but the basic facts are that on June 27th of last year, June 27th of 2024, the defendant was an inmate at Lebanon Correctional Institution. Captain Payne was on duty at the time this happened. She was standing near the dining hall, and she was directing inmates where to go. There were inmates coming in that were late for getting to the dining hall, and of course, everyone can understand there are rules about where inmates move in the prison. She was directing inmates away from the area that were not following the rules. One of those people was the defendant, Mr. Spells, and when she was attempting to direct him away from the area, he then spit in her face. Those are the basic facts you're going to hear about today. The reason I tell you that is I want to make sure no one here has heard of this, had any part in this, or knows anything about this. Okay. Part of the reason why I do that is I'm aware there was a case a few years ago. I used to work in Hamilton County for a long time, and down in Hamilton County there was a case where the prosecutor just forgot to mention the facts, and during the trial, one of the jurors realized they had actually witnessed the crime. So I want to make sure no one has any idea about this before we get started.
That's crazy.
Now, I'm going to talk to you about a few
excellent jurors.
Legal concepts. And before I do, let me just make sure I clarify one thing. I'm going to discuss with you legal definitions, things of that nature, but understand the law comes from the judge. And he mentioned to you that the way a jury trial works, you're going to hear all the evidence, and the judge is then going to instruct you what the law is. So your job is to follow what the judge tells you. I do my best, of course, to tell you accurately what these definitions, what this information is, but the final word on the law is the judge, okay? So the first concept I want to talk to you about is, and you heard this from the judge already, and I'm sure everyone's heard this before, the idea of beyond a reasonable doubt. So the standard of criminal case is beyond a reasonable doubt, which is a different standard than other types of cases. A civil case is what they call preponderance of the evidence. It's just one thing is more likely than the other. In a criminal case, the state has to prove each element of the offense beyond a reasonable doubt. And the judge will tell you what that is. Okay, he'll give you the full definition at the time that we do the jury instructions. But I want to mention it because it's kind of a mystery to some people. Okay, it is not beyond all possible doubt. It's not beyond a shadow of doubt, because we're all human beings, right? So nothing is ever going to be beyond any possible doubt. We can always find some doubt in anything. The question is, has the state proven each element beyond a reasonable doubt? And the judge will tell you that a reasonable doubt is a doubt based in reason and common sense. When you listen to the evidence, and it's your job as jurors, you hear the witnesses, you see the exhibits, you decide which witnesses you believe and what part of their testimony you believe. You decide what weight you want to give to a piece of evidence, okay? Then when you have a chance to consider all the evidence, you decide whether or not you believe there is a doubt based on reason and common sense that the state has proven the case, proven each element. And that's why we have jurors like you come in and use your own life experiences, your own common sense to put that with the evidence and make that decision. But it's not something that is obviously impossible for us to reach, because people in this country are convicted every day of crimes. It's just, is there a doubt based on reason and common sense? Does anybody have any problem with what I've described or applying that standard? Okay. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is, I mentioned this a little bit already, the idea that it's your job to follow the judge's instructions. It's your job to follow the law. As I said, you get to decide what the weight of each piece of evidence is, what the importance you think is with each piece of evidence. You get to decide what you think about witness testimony and what you believe about that. But what the judge tells you the law is, you don't get to have any wiggle room there. You have to follow what the judge tells you. You've taken one oath already. Your first oath was that you're going to tell the truth when we ask questions. You're going to take another oath, if you're selected as a juror. The second oath is you're promising to do certain things, and one of those things that you're taking an oath for is that you're going to follow the law as the judge instructs you. Okay? So.
And it gets loud when he yells into the mic, but then he wanders away. Ask some questions.
Even if you hear the judge describe to you what the charge is, what the elements are, if you think, you know what, that law is stupid. Why is that a crime? Why would somebody get in trouble for doing that? Or you think, you know what, yeah, maybe they proved the case, but I just don't think it's fair to make someone, to convict someone of that type of offense. As a juror, you don't get to have those thoughts. Your only job is, these are the elements, this is the law the judge has provided, and does the evidence provided meet those elements? Okay? Does anybody have any problem with the idea that you have to put things like that aside? All right. Now an example would be a case like this. The judge mentioned to you that this offense, and I think I did earlier, this offense happened inside prison. And we're talking about an inmate spitting on a corrections officer. All right? Now, there are some people, I'm not saying you feel this way or that you should feel this way, but there are some people that might say, well, look, this is a corrections officer inside a prison. They took this job. They understand they're going to get, problems from the inmates. Why are we here dealing with this? Some people might think that way, okay? But you take an oath.
But those people are
put
wrong.
Those feelings aside, if you do feel that way. I'm not saying that you will, but if you do, you take an oath to put those feelings aside, listen to the evidence, listen to the law, and make a decision based on only that. Is that a problem for anybody? Okay. So everybody has a right to a jury trial, no matter the strength of the case against them, no matter the type of charge that exists. And so we're here to prove this case to you, and I'm just asking that you please follow the judge's instructions.
Wow. Do you have any questions?
Another example of this is shows like CSI and Law and Order. Has anybody ever watch those shows?
Oh yeah, all the time.
I mean, I've watched them before too. But the reason I mention it is because those shows create a very unrealistic expectation of what you're going to experience. Now, some of you have been jurors before, so you know this. But those shows definitely create an unrealistic expectation of what the criminal justice system is and what a trial is. Excuse me. Not every case is decided at the end in a dramatic twist, or there's some, unusual technology that somehow solves the crime. That's just normally not what these cases are about. Cases are about witness testimony and the exhibits that you're going to be given. One thing I'll tell you, one instruction the judge will ultimately give you is the testimony of one witness, if you find that person credible, is sufficient to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. No other evidence, no other exhibits. If you find a witness credible, that witness's testimony, as long as the testimony meets all the elements of the offense, that is sufficient to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt. Which is why Law and Order, CSI, and all those things create an unrealistic expectation, because in reality, you can prove a case through solely witness testimony. An example would be a child sex abuse case. It's very common that people come forward later in life to say, hey, I was abused, right? And then there's not a lot of evidence to support that because it happened 10, 12, 15 years ago. But that witness, when they testify and they say, this happened to me, if you believe them, that's sufficient to convict someone beyond a reasonable doubt. Does anybody have a problem with the idea that we don't have to come in with some crazy piece of evidence to be able to prove this case?
I like that, Ladybugs.
Okay.
Man, it's so loud over there.
So there's a few other instructions I just want to talk to you about briefly. One is, and I've kind of talked about this, but when you make a decision, in this case, part of your oath is that you're going to make your decision based only on the evidence presented at trial and the instructions you get from the judge, and consider nothing else, okay? And the judge will tell you that you cannot consider bias, sympathy, or prejudice. For example, the judge mentioned that Mr. Spells, obviously he was an inmate in prison when this happened. That's part of what this case is, okay? The reason, as the judge told you, the reason why this is a felony offense is because he did this inside of a prison. And, you may get the thought, hey, look, he's already in prison. This isn't a big deal. Why would I, kind of feel bad for the guy who's potentially going to get in trouble again? That's sympathy. You're not allowed to consider that when you make a decision. You only can consider the evidence that's presented to you, the witness testimony presented to you, and the instructions of the court. All right? The judge mentioned during his discussion the potential that the defendant could face an additional punishment for this. But the judge will instruct you at the end of the case that you are not permitted to consider punishment. You're not allowed to. Okay? So despite the fact the judge mentioned it, whether or not he would get punished more because of a conviction in this case is not something you're allowed to consider. You're only allowed to consider the witness testimony, the exhibits, and the instructions of the law, and looking at the evidence the state has provided, is that sufficient to prove those elements beyond a reasonable doubt? Okay? So you can't consider bias, sympathy, prejudice, or potential punishment when you deliberate. There's another concept I want to talk with you about. It's called a stipulation.
I think you're talking at them, not with them.
Stipulation means that there's an agreement between the parties as to a certain fact. And when we stipulate to a fact, that means that fact is proven beyond a reasonable doubt without any further evidence. For example, in this case, there are a few stipulations. One, we have to prove the case happened in Warren County. The parties are agreeing this case happened in Warren County, so that's been proved beyond a reasonable doubt without any other evidence. We have to prove that the defendant was confined in a detention facility at the time this happened, and the parties agree that he was confined in a detention facility. So that's proved beyond a reasonable doubt. We have to prove that Lebanon Correctional is in fact a detention facility operated by the Department of Corrections. The parties have agreed to that, so that's proved beyond a reasonable doubt without any further evidence. Does anybody have a problem with the idea that there are certain things you're going to be told to accept because we agree to it without any other evidence? Is everybody okay with that idea? Okay.
Do you have any questions for this potential jury?
Now, does anyone here feel
there we go.
that because of their own personal convictions or personal beliefs that they cannot sit in judgment of another person? And it's fine if you do. There are certainly people that feel that way. But obviously, if you feel that way, you couldn't effectively serve on a criminal jury, right? So does anybody feel that way? Okay.
Nobody feels that way?
Now, if the state provides sufficient evidence to prove the defendant guilty, does anyone have any problem finding the defendant guilty? Would anybody have a problem signing a form that says the defendant's guilty if you feel like the state's proven this case beyond a reasonable doubt? Okay, let me tell you why I asked that question. I told you I worked in Hamilton County before. Years ago, I was in the middle of a murder trial. Jury gets the case, and they deliberated for 4 days. Ultimately, it was a hung jury. 11 jurors wanted to convict the defendant. One juror walked back in the first second, said, "I'm not deliberating," and just sat there. So for 4 days, the jury sat, and of course the attorneys, the judge, they don't know what's happening. We just know they're still deliberating, right? So for 4 days, those jurors sat and fought with each other, fought with this one person really, about the fact that she refused to deliberate. And she just intentionally messed up the whole thing, okay? Now, there was another trial. Ultimately, the guy was convicted, but it wasted a lot of time, a lot of resources, this person choosing to do that. So I always ask and make sure that everybody understands, everybody's willing to say that if there is sufficient proof beyond a reasonable doubt, everyone here will agree to sign the guilty verdict form. Everybody okay with that?
The same way they would agree to sign the not guilty verdict
so,
form if that's the case.
Now, the judge has asked a number of questions, okay? But I may have some questions based on your jury questionnaires. Now, understand something. Obviously, you know the judge mentioned we have your questionnaires, but your questionnaires are not something we share with other people. These are solely for the purpose of asking you questions. Once we get past today, they're going to be destroyed. We don't keep them, so your information doesn't get anywhere past this, all right? Okay.
Take those S's down just a
Now, I
bit.
may have questions for some of you. I may not. Hopefully, no one's offended if I don't ask you questions, but I'm going to try and get through this relatively quickly. Let's see here. Ms. Miller.
Yes.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Couple additional questions from what the judge asked. First of all, you mentioned in your questionnaire that you were an assistant director of retention at the University of Cincinnati.
Yes, I am.
So what does that mean? What do you do?
Yes. So my team, I lead a team. We work with students with the College of Education, Criminal Justice, and Human Services. Also College of Law and College of Engineering. We make sure students retain at the University of Cincinnati.
Should I just put a headphone in?
Okay.
Maybe he's following along with the audio in court.
And is that like you assist struggling students or?
All students.
Okay.
So we do academic advising, financial advising.
Okay, I see.
Journey with them all the way from application to graduation.
Okay, thank you, thank you. You also mentioned that you, a family member or close friend, have been a victim of crime. Is that right?
Yes. My best friend of 32 years, her husband was killed by a drunk driver, leaving her widowed with 3 young children under the age of 5.
Well, I'm very sorry to hear that.
Yes, he was a captain in the U.S. military.
That's terrible.
Yes.
I'm sorry to hear that. Let me ask you this. The reason why I asked the question is just to find out whether you think that experience would have any impact on your ability to sit and be a fair and impartial juror in a case like this.
I think I would be fine in a case like this. If it were dealing with substance abuse, I would potentially feel differently.
Okay. But you think you can sit and fairly impartially listen to the evidence and come to a fair decision?
Yes.
Okay. You also mentioned that you were either related to or a close friend of someone in law enforcement or a prosecutor. Is that right?
Yes, my sister-in-law is a detective here in Warren County.
Okay.
Oh, you're off.
And what agency does she work for?
Can I don't want to...
That's fine. That's no problem. That I don't need to know. I'm sorry.
Okay, I just
That's
don't
fine.
want her identity...
I totally understand.
Cases.
I understand. No problem. Really, the question again, same thing. The relationship you have with your sister-in-law, do you think that would impact your ability to make a fair decision in a criminal case like this?
Mom, veteran wife, welcome to the gallery.
To be honest, we are a very close family of first responders and law enforcement personnel, and to be fair, we favor law enforcement and first responders.
Why?
You understand what?
I totally
If you
understand. what you're saying.
understand.
Let me ask you a couple questions, okay?
Yes.
The
Could you
judge
set aside
mentioned
those?
that legally in the United States, Mr. Spells is presumed innocent unless and until I can provide sufficient evidence beyond a reasonable doubt to prove him guilty.
Correct.
Do you have any problem saying, as he sits here right now, because you haven't heard any evidence, that the defendant is innocent?
I would say, having heard this around the dinner table, we would be favoring law enforcement in this situation. If I were under oath, which I am.
Oh, yes, you are. That's right.
If we were to hear this around the dinner table at Sunday dinner, we would favor law enforcement in the situation.
Okay. So are you saying that you don't think you can come to a fair decision? Or can you just put that aside and decide based on the evidence?
I do have, I can put implicit bias aside.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can put those feelings, I understand, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I totally understand.
Yes.
But the only issue for any juror is whatever personal feelings you bring to the table, whatever experience you bring to the table, the idea is, can you just put that aside, listen to the evidence, listen to the law, and make a decision based on that?
Yes.
You're saying,
Compartmentalize.
bless you.
If that's what you're asking, yes.
Okay.
I can compartmentalize.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The prosecution would love to have her on the jury. There's no way the defense will let that slide. She said the right things to
All right,
stay
Ms. Coffey,
legally.
good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. So a couple additional questions for you. You've also indicated that yourself, a family member or close friend, has been a victim of crime.
My uncle was hit and killed by a drunk driver.
That's two.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear that, man.
That's 2 fatalities from drunk drivers.
You know, those are devastating situations, and I mean, it's terrible. So I'm very sorry to hear that. My question, as it was previously, my question to you is just, despite the fact that you experienced that traumatic event, were you able to put that aside and make a decision just based on the evidence?
Yes.
Okay. So you feel like you can come to a fair and impartial decision?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, Ms. Coffey, thank you. Appreciate it.
He's going through juror questionnaires to pick out
Mr.
individuals.
Fitch, how are you this morning?
He has questions about.
So I have a similar question for you. You also indicated that you or a family member, close friend, had been a victim of crime. Is that right?
He's like, no.
I'm not sure I recall which crime.
It's okay. Well, let me put it this way. If you can't recall, then it's not going to have any impact, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you said you were born in Connecticut, is that right?
Yes.
And what brought you to the Cincinnati area?
Military.
Okay. And you work for GE right now?
Correct.
General Electric.
Okay. Are you a Yale fan?
Oh, this could get him off.
I've probably been too far gone. I left at 18 and haven't been back.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Except for visiting.
So just this weekend was a Yale-Harvard game, and it was pretty exciting, so I didn't know if you were a fan. Okay.
They can ask just about anything in these questions.
Sir, do you think, based on everything else in your life, do you think you can sit, be a fair and impartial juror and come to a fair decision in this case? Okay. Thank you very much.
This is a public process. Anyone can be there and
Mr. Rigsby,
watch.
Is that correct? Well, sir, first of all, let me ask you, it says you were born in Moorhead, Kentucky.
Yes.
Is that right? Did you grow up there?
No, I left when I was 2.
Oh, okay. Well, I grew up in a place called Flatwoods, Kentucky, which is about 20 minutes away from Moorhead, Kentucky.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so I was just curious if you had grown up there.
No.
Are you a Moorhead State fan?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. Now, it says you're a medical assistant, is that right?
I was, yeah.
You were? Okay. And are you currently unemployed or are you employed?
I'm medically retired.
Medically retired, okay. Okay.
Selena, thank
so,
you very
sir,
much.
anything about what we talked about or anything you can think of just in your life generally that you think would have an impact on your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in a case like this?
I'm bipolar.
Okay.
I'm bipolar.
But
Interesting.
I don't know if it would affect it or not.
Okay. Well, do you think you would have any problem sitting for periods of time listening to evidence?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, really, I mean, the question is just, you mentioned this issue. It really is just a question for you, honestly, is whether you think anything personal, whether it be medical or anything else, would have an impact on your ability to listen to evidence, to perceive evidence, to come to a decision with other people, things like that. I mean, if you think it would, please tell us. If you don't think it would, you can certainly tell us that too.
I don't think it would, but I mean, if I get a manic episode or a depressive episode, I can't guarantee it.
Okay. All right. So is this something where you would be more comfortable not participating because of your concern about that, or would it?
Probably.
Okay. All right. Can we approach Judge?
Yes.
Interesting. There could be medical reasons for many people to not serve on a jury, and some as simple as just that it's uncomfortable to sit for a period of time. So if you ever do get called on a jury, I would recommend, first of all, utilizing this feature that we're seeing right now, which is approach at sidebar. You don't have to make anything public. You can answer all your questions at sidebar, and you can just let them know that just for personal embarrassment reasons or something, you want to do it at sidebar, and you can do this over and over. But don't be afraid to tell them the actual situation, because they can't make a good decision unless they know the answer, and you're required to under oath. So there's that. This is a spitting trial. It's a lighter trial.
Mr. Rigsby, if you would like to be excused, you can, but I'm not going to excuse you simply because you have a diagnosis that may and very, very well may not interfere with your abilities as a fair and impartial.
The only thing it might interfere with is if I get distracted during the testimony and stuff. I'm not sure that my concentration isn't always the best.
Okay. All right. I'll excuse you. Thank you.
That's the right situation.
Ms. Mohan, would you please move to that seat?
Moving to that seat?
Yes.
Okay. Jessica Smith?
Next juror, put in the box. We hear some great excuses about why people should not serve on the jury. Unfortunately, we haven't heard many outlandish ones yet. That was a legitimate excuse. The guy just laid out the situation, said, "This is what it is. This is what I deal with."
Were you able to hear all the questions that have been asked so far?
Yes.
What do you want to point out that you would have pointed out had you been here when the questions were asked?
Yeah, I got up here and now I drew a blank. Can you just rephrase the questions real quick?
Just ask him all the questions again.
Let me just put this in. Well, is there any reason you think you cannot sit as a fair and impartial juror?
No.
Okay. Very good. Go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Mohan?
That's the only question.
Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
So, I have a couple questions for you. And I hate to say this, but I can't remember. I know a number of people talked about their prior jury service, and I think you said you were here on a felony, but you can't really remember exactly what it was, and your experience was positive.
Yeah.
Is that right? So there's nothing about that that would make you hesitate to do this again?
No.
Okay. Now you work for a company called, is it L3 Harris?
Yeah, L3 Harris.
Is that correct? And,
Yeah.
and what is L3 Harris?
They're a defense contractor, basically.
L3 is a big one.
And you're an engineer with that company?
Yes.
Systems engineer? That's what I was.
Maybe you think of anything else that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Next juror.
Ms. Prava, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you? So you have, excuse me.
There's a lady knitting on the back row.
You've also previously been a juror, and that was an okay experience, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think you mentioned also, well, actually, before I get to, let me ask you this. You mentioned that you work for Securitas.
Mm-hmm.
Am I saying that right?
Mm-hmm.
Private
Okay.
security.
And you're a security officer?
Yes.
All right. And are you okay telling me, like, where are you assigned? Or?
It's at L3 Harris.
Oh, are you really?
Yeah.
Small world.
Very.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is wild.
I'm her guard.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you feel very secure. Right. Okay. So, all right. And how do you like being a security officer?
I love it.
All right. Now, do you sometimes deal with difficult people?
Oh, yes.
All right. So I assume that to some extent, when you hear the facts of this case, you can kind of relate to dealing with things like this.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So the fact that you probably had, I'm not saying anybody's ever spit on you, but you probably had difficult experiences as a security officer. Do you think that would have any impact on your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case? Okay. You put that aside and just listen to the evidence. Okay.
He said spit.
And you also mentioned that you've been convicted previously?
It was 17 years ago I had a DUI.
Okay. Okay. So, first of all, thank you for telling me that. I appreciate the information. And really the question for me is whether you think that experience, did you feel like you were treated unfairly or that the police officer was...
No, I was treated very fairly.
Okay. And do you think that whatever came of that is something that was appropriate, that basically you did what happened and you received a punishment and then you moved on? Okay. Anything about that experience you think would impact your ability or desire to be a juror in a case like this?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right.
She has a prior DUI. Interesting, there are two jurors on the panel as
So
well who have had
ma'am.
family
Appreciate
members
it.
that have passed after being hit by a DUI driver.
All right.
So it's
Mr.
interesting.
Ramirez, how are you this morning?
Split.
I'm doing well. So, in addition to the discussion we've already had, you also mentioned in your questionnaire that either you, a family member, or a close friend had been a victim of crime. Is that right? Can you tell me about that?
The one I was referring to, it happened when I was a child against my dad's brother. I'd rather not talk about
That's fine. That's fine. But again, the question would be, I mean, obviously, we've already talked about this before. You have traumatic events like this happen in your life, and it affects everyone differently, right? Some people may say, well, this is horrible, but I can put that to the side and listen to a case like this. Some people are like, you know what, that was terrible, and I don't even want to be in a courtroom, right? Everybody's different. So the question is, for you, do you think the experience you had that you've described would have any impact on your desire or ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case?
Absolutely not.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And I think that's all the questions I have. Thanks. Let's see. You said it's Levan. Is that correct?
Correct.
Good morning, Miss Levan. How are you? Okay. So let me start with this. You said it was a bad week.
It's a bad
right?
week.
I want to give you the opportunity to tell us why the jury service is difficult at this time.
Thanksgiving.
Okay. I have a couple things to say.
Sure.
I manage a clinic, and I'm also an advanced practice registered nurse. We have a very small staff. We recently had an RN leave to actually go to Montgomery County Jail. Not as a
I understand. Yeah, as a practitioner, not as an inmate. All right, I got it.
So we are short-staffed, and that I don't have another RN that can. I'm doing the RN job tomorrow. Our scope of service requires that we have an RN during all open hours, so I have to be there tomorrow. So that's the bad week for that.
Okay.
So if you want me to answer the other questions, I can tell you
Sure,
right
go
now
ahead.
that
That's fine.
my ex-husband was abusive, and I have been spit on.
There you go.
And that would really, I would have trouble being fair and impartial.
Okay. So you think that just the fact that you've experienced that, and it's obviously being spit on is also a traumatic event, right?
She's gone. Probably both counts. Both
you feel like the fact
would be enough to excuse her.
that and been a victim of that, you don't feel comfortable sitting as a juror. Okay.
Also being in a department of the hospital, and we have a zero workplace violence policy, zero tolerance workplace violence. I mean, that is an issue.
Okay. Now you mentioned also briefly you raised your hand and said you had been a juror previously, and you said, and it was I think the idea of being here today and what happened before kind of got mixed up a little bit. The prior service, was that okay?
Yes.
Okay, so there was nothing about that would make you not want to do this again?
No.
Okay, all right. All right, I believe that's all the questions I have, ma'am. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Today approach.
Nagby?
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly?
Yes.
How are you this morning?
Fine, thank you.
So, a couple quick questions. You also mentioned that yourself, a family member, or a close friend has been a victim of a criminal offense. Is that right?
Right. My husband was a phone victim for a money scam.
Oh, okay.
Man, those are the worst.
Okay.
That's why
You know,
I
it's
treat
interesting.
them.
We mean the prosecutor's office, about a month ago, we had training from the FBI about people using AI for that.
Uh-huh.
And I think probably the only piece of information that I took from that really shocked me is if you get a call from a number you don't know, don't answer it.
Right.
Because they can take your voice and make it sound like it's you, and they'll call and say, hey, I've been kidnapped or whatever, and it sounds like you're talking. So it's pretty scary.
If you get that call from me,
obviously,
don't
that
pay.
is a difficult experience.
Don't pay.
It has an impact on your life if someone does that to you, right?
Right.
Do you think the fact that your husband went through that, and obviously the two of you did together, would have any impact on your ability to be a juror in a case like this?
No.
Okay.
Save your muddy
Any
greeters.
kind of personal feelings or thoughts aside, make a decision based on the evidence and the law you hear from the court?
Yes.
Okay. All right, man. Thank you very much.
All
right, Ms. Bird?
They can
How are
steal my
you?
voice from a million different places.
Good morning. So there's nothing in addition really on your questionnaire that I want to ask you about, but let me just ask you generally. We've been having a pretty lengthy discussion here about different issues. Is there anything that you can think of in your personal life or things that have happened that would affect your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in a case like this?
No.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about anything we've discussed? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, ma'am. I appreciate it.
She's on.
Right. Miss Kamalkar.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. You know, I do my absolute best, but every jury trial, I really butcher someone's name, so I'm glad I was able to get your name correct. So, I don't have really any additional questions based on your questionnaire other than what we've already discussed. But my question to you also is there anything else about your personal life, about your experiences, anything else that you think would impact your ability to sit and be a fair and impartial juror in a case like this?
No.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. Beerer?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, let me ask you, you mentioned in your questionnaire that you are related to or a close friend of a law enforcement officer or a prosecutor. Is that right?
Correct. My dad is a sergeant now at the Montgomery Police Department.
Okay. Okay. Montgomery and Hamilton County?
Yes.
Okay. And since he's a sergeant, I'm guessing he's been a police officer for quite some time?
Correct.
Okay. So pretty much your childhood has been having your dad as a police officer?
Yeah.
Okay. And we're here, obviously, to talk about a criminal case, right? Is there anything about this case, or excuse me, I'm sorry, anything about your experience of your dad being a police officer that you think would mean that you shouldn't serve as a juror in this case?
No.
You can put all that aside and come to a fair and impartial decision based on the evidence?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we haven't discussed you think would have an impact on your ability to be a juror?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, sir. Carlin?
Yes.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. So this indicates you are a general manager at Wings and Rings, is that right?
That is correct.
And how long have you worked for them?
9 years.
All right.
Wings and rings? Like buffalo wings and onion
You were
rings?
born in Florida. Did you grow up in Florida, or did you?
I did not. I was just born premature, so I was actually born on vacation. So. I was not there very long.
Worst vacation.
So you're just a visitor.
Correct.
Okay. And then, but you grew up locally?
Yes. Yeah. Grew up in Cincinnati.
All right. All right. One other question, sir. You also mentioned that you have previously been convicted of a criminal offense. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell us about that a little bit?
It was minor drug possession in college.
Okay. And so it's been, you're still pretty young, but it's been more than 10 years ago, I would take it?
Yes.
Okay. Anything about that experience that you think would have some impact on your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case?
No.
Okay.
It does feel weird, but if you ever get called
Do
for
you feel
jury
like you were
selection,
treated fairly through that process by the police and the courts?
Yeah.
I think you'll be glad you got to watch this.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Understand how it works. What you can do.
Judge, do you want me to ask the alternate juror or wait? Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Smith. How are you?
You are the alternate.
Your name's a little easier to pronounce than the last two, so
Married
I appreciate that. All right. So you also indicate that you've previously been a juror, and I think you said that experience, or actually you didn't mention that, did you? Okay. So that was in Georgia?
Yes.
All right. Do you remember what kind of case it was?
It was a felony murder trial.
Felony murder. How long ago was that?
25 years ago.
Okay.
Felony murder 25 years ago.
And how would you describe the experience of being on a jury in a case?
It was pretty traumatic on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mom who was murdered. And yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, that's not, first of all, I mean, thank you for being willing to do it. And again, I mean, I thank everyone who's willing to be a juror, because it's not an easy thing necessarily. But do you think the experience you had in that case would keep you going to be a juror again in a criminal case like this?
I don't know the ins and outs of this case, so I don't know that I can honestly answer that question.
Right. Well, did you hear me give kind of a recitation, a little bit of it? So it's obviously a little different than that case. But do you think that it may not be the one thing you want to do the most, but if you were picked as a juror, you think you could do it and be fair and impartial?
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. Also, you mentioned that either yourself, a family member, or a close friend has been a victim of crime. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And without getting into the details of it, do you think that that experience would have an impact on your ability to be a fair and impartial juror in this case? Okay. You think you put whatever may have happened aside and just listen to the evidence and come to a decision based on the evidence? Okay. All right. Judge, I would pass for cause. Thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Defense.
Guyman?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Guyman. I represent Mr. Spells. Before I begin really diving into questions, I just want to make one thing clear. There's no right or wrong answers, okay? I know this is obviously probably for a lot of you an uncomfortable experience, at least initially while you're kind of getting acclimated. But we're not judging anybody here by any means. The truth is really what we need here. That's the only way this process works. So regardless of how uncomfortable it may be, or you know, how you might think somebody else might interpret something you have to say, all we're looking for is really the truth, okay? And in that regard, I'm not here to try to select somebody that's necessarily the best for our case. We're looking for people who are honest and fair, who can, you know, evaluate the facts and apply the law to those facts in this case. Some of the topics that I'm going to touch on have already been, you know, touched on, spoken to this morning, both by the prosecutor and the judge, but they are important, and so I want to make sure that, you know, we're all have a really good understanding of what they are, and one of those is the presumption of innocence. As the judge explained, Mr. Spells comes in here this morning with a presumption of innocence, and that means that if the prosecutor were not to put on any evidence, and we're just to rest, and the defense were to rest and not put on any evidence, you would have to find him not guilty at that point. He is presumed innocent, and so it's one of our core principles about our legal system. Is there anybody here in that regard that believes that if somebody is charged with a crime, that they probably did something? And again, it's okay if you do feel that way. I would rather hear it now in this process than, you know, kind of just not speak up.
Then after you pull the jury on the guilty verdict.
So, okay, nobody feels that way. Okay. So is there anybody here that's struggling to start at innocent? Meaning that, as of right now at least, given Mr. Spells the presumption of innocence? Nobody? Okay.
I've got to open my window. I'm going to be listening.
And then can everybody agree that that presumption stays with Mr. Spells up until a point that if the state is able to meet their burden, and that burden being beyond reasonable doubt? Okay. And that burden is a very heavy burden. It's the highest burden we have in this country. It's higher than the showing that the state needs to take your kids away from you. And that's because somebody's life and or liberty can be on the line in a criminal trial.
Judge, I'm going to object. Can we approach, please?
Okay, no fair. It got spicy right when I went to open my window. Okay, so what happens there? Defense just objected, or sorry, prosecution just objected to what the defense said because he made a comparison using the burden of proof. And we know, okay, because we've listened to all the jury questionnaires, we know that we have like 3 men and the rest women up there, okay, something like that. It's very heavily slanted to the female side of the population. And he's like, the burden of proof that you have to reach in this is higher than the proof they have to take your kids away from you.
Objections overruled.
And again, in a criminal case, that burden is carried solely by the state. I mean, the defense is not required in any capacity to put on any evidence
They're the bad
or any
guys.
testimony.
Take your kids away. Yeah, the state
Regarding
takes
that,
kids
and I
from their
know,
parents.
again, it's been spoken to, but Mr. Spells is not, there's no constitutional requirement for Mr. Spells to testify. There's no requirement for the defense to put on a defense. In fact, there's many reasons, as the judge mentioned, there are reasons that have nothing to do with somebody's guilt as to why they might not want to testify. And would anybody here, if Mr. Spells does not testify, hold that against him?
The judge is reading something in his lap. He's not sleeping.
In this case, you're going to hear from, well, at least 3 witnesses, one of which is a law enforcement officer, well, they're both in some capacity in a law enforcement field. And I know numerous of you had spoken to having either a family member or a close friend who was in law enforcement. And again, I know a lot of that was hashed out by the prosecutor, but I do want to follow up on some questions. Juror number 1, Ms. Miller, you had, at least from my recollection of what you were speaking to, it seemed like you had said you heard about the case, and I don't know if that was maybe just the initial charge, but you were around the dinner table.
No, I was just speaking to the fact that if a case like this, I have not heard about the case. My point was when we gather as a family, which we do regularly, if not weekly, and we speak. My sister-in-law is a detective here in Warren County for the city of Franklin, and we talk as a family. We favor.
And she tells us all the details about cases.
Our law enforcement officers. That is what I was speaking to. So, when asked if I was to have initial conversation, if something were like this to be brought up, I would say, like, I would favor my sister-in-law. If this were to happen to my sister-in-law, I would favor my sister-in-law. When asked if I could compartmentalize that and not show explicit bias, I said yes. I could compartmentalize and not show explicit bias.
And not show explicit
But you said
bias.
you favor law enforcement. What do you mean by favor?
We support our law enforcement officers in my family.
So would you deem a law enforcement officer's testimony more credible than anybody else?
Yes.
She's gone.
And that's based on their profession?
That's cause.
Correct.
Judge, we need a new juror.
And so, and that's how I took it, and I appreciate the honesty.
Yes.
So without even hearing the facts, if you heard there were 2 individuals who were going to testify, one was a law enforcement officer, just based on their profession, you would give that more credibility?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye. No need
wait,
to.
Just a moment. I think law enforcement officers are viewed favorably throughout society. I was prosecutor for 26 years. I had a lot of interaction with law enforcement. It seems 90% of them are top rate. Maybe that may be a bit high. But I dealt with people who worked here in Warren County who are now, one who's serving time in prison for murdering his parents. One who would steal guns from vehicles. But overwhelming majority of them are good, upstanding citizens.
I've had a gun stolen from me by a police officer, and I've been spit on by a police officer.
Separately to determine that. If you go into this, you remember we talked about implicit bias. This is explicit bias. You tend to favor law enforcement because they're in your family, right? Okay. Do you think that's going to interfere with your ability to listen to the testimony in this case?
Judge, she's gone.
And be fair to both sides?
I believe I can compartmentalize and have a fair and reasonable outcome.
Okay.
But she believes a law enforcement witness over
go
any
ahead.
other. May we approach?
Sorry, I'm a little thrown off here. So, what do you mean by like being able to compartmentalize and just ignore those biases? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I feel like I can be fair and have a fair listen to everything and make
And
my
then
own
believe the police officer.
decision based off of my own thoughts and feelings about the case, based off of what's presented as facts.
All right. That's fine. I'll move on from here. Does anybody else have any? I guess does anybody else here? Would they give more weight to a officer's testimony over any other lay witness, without just based on the professional law?
Okay, she should be off the jury.
Ms. Profit.
Yes.
You're employed as a security guard, security officer.
Yes.
Okay. And would you give any more credibility or any, I guess, weigh a corrections officer's testimony, give it a different weight than another witness's just based on their profession? Okay. Can everybody here agree that a situation can happen and there can be different interpretations of what took place? Okay. And I'm sure a lot of you probably at some point in your life might have been in a situation like that. Were you raising your hand?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Scratching, sorry.
Okay.
Please don't
So
scratch.
that is really just the importance of waiting to pass judgment and make that determination after hearing all the evidence and all the facts. Because a lot of times our initial assumptions might not always be right. We don't have all the information. We're not in a position to make that determination. So that's why it's important to obviously wait until the end and you've heard all the testimony, you've seen all the evidence to come to that conclusion. And another thing here is if the state does not meet their burden, okay, you're required by law to find Mr. Spells not guilty. Now that doesn't mean that, you know, something didn't happen or that you got, you know, you have to feel great about whatever occurred. It's whether or not they meet their burden. And that's whether or not they can prove very specific elements of the offense. And those will all be gone over with you, obviously, throughout this trial. But if the state has to prove all of those elements, if any one of those is missing, you have to find Mr. Spells not guilty. Does everybody understand that? Okay. And that's putting personal feelings aside. Does anybody have an issue doing that? Does anybody here think if somebody is incarcerated at the, you know, a time that an offense occurs, that they are less credible due to their incarceration status?
It's a little wobbly, Drama Llama.
Okay. Juror number 7, Miss, is it Levan? Levan. You had spoke about your ex-husband, and I apologize in advance. I don't want to, you know, intentionally cause you any pain or anything like that, but I think it's important for this case. Used to spit on you. Is that correct?
Okay. He has spit on me. It's a regular occurrence. Yeah.
And do you think that would impact your ability to be fair in this case, given what the allegations are?
I do have an issue with spitting.
Okay. Okay. So do you think you'd be able to put that aside and be fair and impartial?
Is that a no?
No.
It's a no.
And I appreciate the honesty. Thank you.
Spidometer is up to 4 now.
I don't have any further questions. I do have.
Pass for cause.
No, I would.
Okay, you want to.
Want me to approach?
Yeah, you want to approach. So many things depend on context. We're talking about law enforcement officers or corrections officers. Has anyone seen the Shawshank Redemption?
What?
Is that what it was? What was your feeling about that case? Anything strong about that case? Do you think there's ever a situation where corrections officers can be unfair, biased, commit crimes? And do you think there's also plenty of corrections officers who are upstanding citizens who treat people right? So it's a mixture, just like in any other profession. Will you all listen to the testimony in the case and weigh the testimony using the standards you use in your everyday life and be fair to both sides in this case? Okay. Ms. Levon, I understand your position, and we'll excuse you.
Okay, that's good. And there should be two.
You will move to Betsy. That almost guarantees you'll be the next one off every time I ask somebody to do that. We'll call one more.
Come on up, sir. You're the next contestant. Hope you listened to all the questions. Could you please give us all the answers in order how you would have answered had you been on the panel when they were asked.
Mr. Clark, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All the questions from now on, for now, will be directed to you. We've finished with the questions for the first 12 members of the jury. Can you tell me if there's anything you feel that we would all want to know in deciding whether to keep you on this jury?
Other than what's on my questionnaire, no.
Okay, so you feel you're a fair person. You'll listen to the testimony and make your decision with fair and just result.
Got to adjust the window.
Okay. Anything from the state?
Judge, first, just for the record, did the defense otherwise pass for cause?
Well,
Judge. Yeah.
He didn't pass for cause. He had a challenge for cause, which I granted.
And she's been excused. I just want to make sure before we move on that he passes for cause otherwise.
Do you have any other challenges for cause?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hart, how are you, sir?
I'm fine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So you mentioned your questionnaire. There are a few things here that I would like to ask you about. First of all, you've been a juror previously in Warren County.
Correct.
Is that right? And how was that experience for you?
Mixed emotions about it.
Okay, and why is that?
I felt like the jury didn't do its job.
Okay. All right. Was it a criminal case?
It was I would say it was, yes. It was a case that involved actually a corrections officer.
Okay. And I have to ask, why do you think the jury didn't do its job? The jury, didn't do its job?
Because the facts were obvious, and it was a split jury.
Okay.
Split right down the middle.
Okay. So you had frustration in the fact that you viewed the case a certain way, and others couldn't see it basically that way.
Correct.
Okay. The fact that happened, do you think that would have an impact on your ability, if you're selected in this case, could you be fair and impartial and make a decision just on the evidence that you hear and the law the judge gives you?
I think I can.
Okay.
I can. It's these other dimwits here that I'm
You also mentioned,
to.
sir, that you have a family member, close friend, or yourself have been a victim of crime. Is that right?
My wife has.
Okay.
Everybody's been affected by minor crimes throughout their life, right?
Right. So is there anything about that experience you think would have an impact on your ability to be a juror in this case?
Not really.
Okay. And then you also indicate you're either related to or close friend of someone in law enforcement or a prosecutor. Is that right?
Yeah, I've had 4 neighbors, next door neighbors in my life. I've lived in Warren County for 32 years, and I've had 4 next door neighbors that are cops. So, and I've also got my wife's cousin's a cop.
Okay. So those relationships and the experiences you have with them as people obviously are different than the fact that they're police officers, right?
Sure.
Do you think that whatever feelings you have or thoughts you have about those relationships personally, you think you put those aside and come to a fair decision in this case based just on the evidence and the law?
I think I can.
Okay. All right, sir. Thank you very much. I pass for cause, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Guyman, any questions?
Yes, briefly, Judge. Sir, you said the other jury you sat on regarded or involved a corrections officer. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Do you remember what the case was? What the charge was?
Basically, a corrections officer was accosted by an inmate, and the inmate admitted to doing it, and the jury still found him innocent.
Okay. And just to, I guess, reassure myself, but given, you said you had numerous people, I guess, in your life who are law enforcement officers, correct?
Correct.
You don't believe that would influence your judgment in any way?
No.
Okay. Nothing for the judge.
I'm waiting for the judge.
Just something I want to point out, and I know you don't use this terminology. You're not asked to determine if a person is innocent. The question for the jury is, has the state proven the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? There is a difference.
I like that.
So that's just something I want to point out. Now, as to the regular panel, does the state have a peremptory challenge?
Yes, Your Honor. The state would like to thank but excuse juror number 6.
All right. Ms. Ramirez, thank you for coming in, and good luck with your future endeavors there.
Whatever you do in your future, good luck.
Mr. Hart, would you please move to the seat behind you?
I'm waiting for the judge to say. Oh, it didn't work. Hang on. I've got to get this working right.
Does the defense have a peremptory challenge?
Yes, Your Honor. The defense would ask to excuse juror number 1.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Miller.
That's what I wanted to say.
I have a very particular set of skills.
And Kathy Carl.
Yes, it seems like a lot, but it is a felony case, actually, because the defendant was incarcerated at the time that happened.
Ms. LeMaster, you've hopefully heard all the questions that have been asked. You've probably got a good idea of where we're headed here. Anything you want to point out as far as whether or not you should be on this jury?
I don't think so. Nothing that would affect my ability to be fair.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Carl, same question. You feel like you're
She says she can be
proper
fair.
in this case? Okay, very good. Thank you. Any questions from the state?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you. Ms. LeMaster, good morning. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you. So, a couple questions for you. You mentioned that either yourself, a family member, or a close friend had been a victim of crime. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that experience, whatever it might be, do you think that would have an impact on your ability to sit in a criminal case like this, listen to the evidence, and come to a fair decision?
Not at all.
Okay. You can put whatever feelings you may have aside and listen to the evidence.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, you mentioned you are either related to or a close friend of someone in law enforcement or a prosecutor. Is that right?
Yeah.
And is that a police officer or is it a prosecutor? Or?
State trooper.
State trooper, okay. Anything about that relationship that you think would have an impact on your ability to come to a fair decision in a case like this?
No.
Okay. You put aside whatever friendship you may have and just listen to the evidence.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, ma'am. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Ms. Carl, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you.
Looks like you had previously been a juror. And that was in
It was a long time.
1988
Somewhere around there.
in Mesa Municipal Court.
That's why.
I wonder who the prosecutor was.
I have no.
So, in any event, ma'am, obviously that was a long time ago, but how was your experience being a juror?
It was fine.
It was fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing about that experience that you think would impact your ability or desire to be a juror in this case?
No.
Okay. Anything else we haven't discussed that you think would impact your ability to be a fair and impartial juror?
No.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, ma'am. I'd pass for cause, Judge.
Mr. Guyman, any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
We have a jury.
Does the state have a peremptory challenge?
Well, no.
Yes, Your Honor. The state would thank but excuse juror number 9, Miss Bird.
Miss Bird is gone.
Bird, thank you for coming in.
I don't know why the state is dismissing people. Ms.
Carl, you'll move to that seat.
I haven't heard
please.
anybody the state wouldn't want on there. They just don't like their look.
I was thinking about something as we were sitting here this morning. We do a lot of jury trials. When I was in the 7th grade, I think, they took us to the county courthouse and to watch trial proceeding. And I can honestly say it seemed to me at that time to be one of the top 10 boringest things I ever saw in my life. I sympathize with you, especially those in the back.
Can I object, Judge?
Does the state have a peremptory challenge?
We just exercised one, Judge.
Okay. Defense have a peremptory challenge.
Yes, Your Honor. Juror number 7.
Number 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Miss Smith? Is that the one you were talking about?
Who by name, who you wanting
Oh,
to?
I'm sorry, Judge. One second, Judge. Sorry.
Like, you want Miss Smith off? He wants Smith on.
You should be able to look at the box.
Yeah, Judge. Sorry, Judge. I would, juror number 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, okay.
Mr. Hart.
Mr. Hart, thank you for coming in, sir.
Deborah Pendo.
2 more up. For some reason, I thought we had already done our last strikes, but...
And then go take empty seat in the back row. Julie Jameson.
Everyone else is getting nervous. Girl in purple, she's like, I know I'm going to be next.
Ms. Pindell, anything from the questions that have been asked that would make you question whether or not you should be on this jury? Okay. Ms. Jameson? All right. Any questions from the state?
Yes, Judge, briefly. Ms. Pindell, good morning.
Good morning.
Is that the proper pronunciation of your name?
It is.
Okay, thank you. So your questionnaire does not have a lot of the issue, or not issues, but the questions we've raised before. The question I have for you just is, you've had a chance to hear kind of what the case is about, generally. You've had a chance to hear a lot of information from your potential fellow jurors. Is there anything that has been discussed or any issues that we've kind of delved into that you think would be an issue for you, would be a concern of any way for you?
Not
so
at this
you think
time.
that you could listen to the evidence and the law given to you by the judge, follow the law and come to a fair decision?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
She's really quiet, but she says she can be fair. No issues.
Pastor Collins? Oh, no, you've got another
Yes.
question. I'm sorry.
Good morning, Ms. Jameson. How are you?
Okay.
So one question that does pop up for me in your questionnaire is that you've previously been a juror here in Warren County.
Yeah, it was like 30 years ago.
Okay.
It was not a criminal case. It was an injury case.
Okay, the civil case?
Yeah, a woman was injured falling on a sidewalk.
Okay, all right. So how was that experience for you?
It was fine.
It was fine. Anything about that you think would keep you from wanting to be a juror in a case like this?
No.
Okay. All right, Judge. Thank you very much, ma'am. I pass for cause.
All right. Mr. Guyman, any questions?
No questions, Judge.
Do you pass for cause?
I do.
Okay, do you...
Any more strikes?
We're back
State.
to state, right?
Yeah, can I have 1 second, Judge?
Yes, sir.
I don't know why the state is striking people. Honestly, this just seems... There's no issues with any of them. I can see why defense would want a lot of them off, but it's always a hit and miss at who gets called up next to take their place.
Are the state satisfied with the jury?
All right, you...
We waived the
you
third
pass.
offender. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Waive their final strike.
Mr. Guyman,
Yes, Your Honor.
any peremptory challenges as it relates to the 12 members of the panel?
It passed as well, Judge.
I know you... Okay, do you have a peremptory challenge?
No, Judge.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, as to the alternate, does the state have a peremptory challenge?
No, Your Honor.
As to the alternate, does the defense have a peremptory challenge?
No, Judge.
Okay, that means we have a jury.
We have a jury. Everyone else, you can go home now.
Before we swear in the members of the jury, is there any reason whatsoever that you can think of that you should not be on this jury or you cannot be on this jury?
Now you ask them?
We had 2 alternates in 2 trials ago. We lost both of them before the trial even started, before we called a single witness.
Why
So
are
I
we doing
wanted
this
to make
back?
sure there wasn't anything. All right, so you're all good. Could you please swear the members of the jury?
Okay, the jurors, please rise and raise your right hand.
I guess he doesn't like excuses.
Do you swear, so help you God, or affirm under the pains and penalties of perjury that you will diligently inquire into and carefully deliberate all matters between the state of Ohio and the defendant, Javon Spells, to the best of your skill and understanding and without bias or prejudice? Please say I do.
I do.
Okay, may be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen in the back, thank you very much for coming in. I'm sorry you didn't get to participate. Some of you are actually trying to walk out the door before I finish, so I guess you're in a hurry. But if you didn't come today, we couldn't have proceeded. So thank you for coming in. If you need anything from the clerk's office to show you're here, you can get that. You're excused.
Grab a candy bar on the way out. Have a good day. The lady who was knitting, I think she made that thing she's wearing, which is just amazing. I don't know what the pullover. It looks like it's like hand knitted. That huge fat.
All right,
yarn.
as I said, we try not to go over 2 hours, and we're approaching that before you get a break. I'll just tell you at this point, you're now a member of the jury in this case. You will be using the jury room straight through this door. Brandy will Make sure that anything you need is taken care of within reason. You can't be out in the courtroom and any other place other than the jury room or this courtroom. That keeps you from bumping into witnesses, things like that. Probably at the lunch break, Brandy will show you where you can park. You'll be issued a badge. You'll be entering in the rear. Do you still have people park out there? Okay.
Yeah.
You can't bring a firearm into the courthouse, even though you will not be going through security. Now,
whoa.
If this case takes 2 days and you go home, you can't talk about this case with anyone. You can't even during the day. There are a lot of good reasons for that. If this trial, as with every trial and every proceeding in this courtroom, is on YouTube. It's YouTube, Warren County Common Pleas Courtroom 2. I'm telling you that, so if we don't finish today, you can always tell anyone who's interested they can watch it if they want, but you can't discuss it. Once the case is over, you can discuss it with anyone you want. You also can't form any opinions or draw any conclusions until you've heard all the evidence, the arguments of counsel, and the instructions of law. I'll remind you of that a couple of times. You can't do any research on the case. You can't discuss it on social media. You can't do any type of investigation at all. That cost us a trial once. Somebody did it was an experiment they did.
Some practice spits.
And it caused a mistrial. We had to do it was in this courtroom. It was before I was here, but they had to do a murder case over again because of that. So you can't do anything like that. Any questions? Okay, then we'll take a break, and after the break, we'll start with opening statements.
Please rise.
Oh, isn't it great? Hopefully you have some good local suppliers that you can work with. The further away they get, the larger problems get. Might be cheaper the further away they are, but problems are big. Thank you, Jennifer, for reminding us about Melissa P. and Matthew. Final treatment
Mr. Spells,
today.
do you need to use the restroom, sir? Okay. Then we'll take probably 10 to 15 minutes by the time we get everybody back in here. So see you back then.
Thank you, Judge.
So we're going to step off and mute the court mic. Do we have a jury? We do have a jury. And this is, now somebody might ask, why are we watching a case with a spitometer? Well, because the case is about spitting, literally. It's a spitting case. Apparently the defendant allegedly was spitting mad or something like that, but he was incarcerated at the time, which I think he still is. The judge said that to the jury. I don't think he should have. I think they should have known that this happened while he was incarcerated, but not know that he currently is incarcerated. Judge let that one slip early on. But yeah, he allegedly spat on a corrections officer, a female corrections officer. There are only going to be 3 witnesses here. It should only be about a day long. We might finish today. Depends how things go. It depends what the defense does. But because he was incarcerated when this happened, in Lebanon, I think, right? Lebanon Correctional Facility. He is charged with a felony. And that can add like 5 to 10 years to his sentence. So, Peter Tupperware, member for 31 months. OG. Just joining this morning. I actually had to do some work. I would rather be here. So yes, this trial is about a spitting assault, which is funny. Not funny. It's not funny. Don't spit on people, please. It's not a thing. Okay, you don't do that. Kids do it when they're little, and they learn very quickly not to do that. But yeah, Lebanon, we've heard some horror stories out of this one. Scary prison for sure. I say it's funny because I have been spat on by exactly one police officer, and it was while I was being interrogated for for a crime I did not commit. I literally called them up to inform them what I knew about a crime that occurred. And during the interrogation, he was like in my face, and spittle was flying on my face as he's shouting at me and everything. It's gross. It's gross. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. That police officer is now the police chief. So, long story. It involved a high-powered explosive device, and me nearly dying. So, and a firearm, and a lot of other things. We'll tell the story sometime again. I've told it a time or two. So say it, don't spray it. Yes. The other thing is the judge mentioned, like, I've had a firearm. I don't know who mentioned it. I have a firearm stolen from me by a police officer. I think the judge mentioned some officers, steal firearms from people or something. I've personally had a firearm stolen from me by a police officer. And I say that because I found a firearm while I was deer hunting with a friend. And we found it and thought, there's a chance that this gun, most likely it was just dropped. Based on where it was just dropped here by somebody who's hunting, and they just thought it was gone and lost it, and it will be gone forever. And it was in rough shape. It was a Ruger Bearcat revolver, engraved. It was beautifully engraved, but it needed some work to fix it up. But nothing that was like beyond repair. It's a cheap, I'd say, like an 8 or 9 shot 22 revolver. And you can put new hand grips on it. It would have been a beautiful gun. But because of the fact that it could have been thrown from the road or something, we thought, it could have been used in a crime, could have been stolen. The right thing to do is go to the police. So I called the police. I remember this story because it was the day I dated my wife the first time. I was out deer hunting, came home from deer hunting early after finding this gun. Well, we were sort of late because we had to hunt for my radio, which was lost. But instead of finding the radio, we found the gun, and then we found the radio, and then we came home. And then I was late to go to the date because I was trying to turn in the gun to the police station. They were coming to visit me, so I was waiting at my house, and it took forever to get there. The officer took all the notes, did all the writing and everything, and took the gun, everything, looked at it, and said, "Okay, here's my card." When you after a certain period of time, I think it was after 30 or 60 days, you can go down to the police station and give them your name, tell them this is this, tell them you dropped off the gun, and then if no one's claimed it, you can pick up the gun, or if it wasn't stolen. And I went back exactly to the day of when I should go back, and they said, "We don't have any record of you turning in a firearm." And I went and I told them the day, and they said there should be a firearm that was turned in on this day, and I'm like, "We don't have any record of a gun being turned in on that day." And what I think happened, because officers can do this, is he sat in his car and he did a quick search on the serial number on the gun, showed up clean, and he thought, free gun. And he took it. So, anyway, even though I've been spat on by a police officer and had a gun stolen from me by a police officer, I still do support law enforcement generally. Most of them are great people doing good work for little pay in a dangerous situation. So it's quite the allegation, yes. And then, wait, there's more to the story, obviously. After I turned in the gun, head down to pick up my wife for a date. I was a few minutes late. By few, I mean like 2 hours. 2 hours late. She had been ready, waiting, highly anticipating my arrival, and I had not shown up. So when I showed up 2 hours late, she had gone back to bed. She's like, "Whatever, this guy completely ghosted me." And okay, it was 3. I said like 2. It was 3 hours late. She'd gone back to bed, and I'm knocking on the door, and she's like, I'm not going to answer. But something convinced her to be like, fine, I'll give him a chance, mostly because I said, look, there's a long story. It involves the police, okay? And we went out on our first date, which I'm not going to give you all the information, but it did involve going back up into the mountains and going fishing, which was a lot of fun for me. Not as much for her. I learned quickly that she does not like fishing as much as I do. Anyway, let's see. Annalie Finch, welcome from Virginia. I'm just south of you in North Carolina. Good to have you here. See what happens when you're late. That was strike 2 for him. If you tell these stories as a possible juror, the state will excuse you for sure. She was quite the catch. Ice fishing did not go nearly as well as just stream fishing did. Stream fishing in the fall, ice fishing that following winter. Nope. That just about ended it right there. Tumwater Troy, member for 26 months on the jury. You were lucky. I definitely am. I married up out of my league. It is. I'm grateful every day, especially around Thanksgiving, because she's also a great cook. Yeah. It was good. Fishing on the first date. Hey, fishing. To be fair, I think she gave a little and I gave a little on that date. So it was like we both had to overlook the other person's, and for my case, I overlooked dipping fries in your Frosty. I'm just going to pretend that didn't happen. That's not a thing. But now she's taught her kids to do it. So, great news. The Slenderman Stabber hunt is over. She was captured. I think she was captured at a gas station or something like that. Yes. Love dipping fries in Frosty. No, but it's good. Of course, we went to Wendy's. I was a poor kid. Wendy's was all I could afford. It was not a truck stop. It was a dedicated Wendy's. We have a remote. We have a mic. That's the witness stand. Yeah, Tim, I wouldn't recommend repeating anything that I did. I'm not saying this is the way to do it. It's not the way to win over a girl's heart. It's funny because the bomb story happened while we were dating as well. That was yeah, wild. Slenderman going to have another hearing. She's probably going to face some additional charges for cutting off the tether and going on the run. Probably lose her status with a limited freedom that she had. Why would the cop spit on you? It wasn't like Hakalugi type thing. It was that he was he didn't believe me when I said I didn't make the bomb, and he was challenging the story that I had told him over the last hour and a half, and he was right up in my face. I mean, there's lots of reasons. It was Christmas Eve. There's probably at least one other place he'd rather be than in the police station interrogating somebody at 1 o'clock in the morning on Christmas morning, but that's where I was. Yeah, so. Yep. Tim, hello to Denmark. I have not been to Denmark. I've been to Norway though. I think I was at Norway. I was in Larvik, and Larvik has a little ship, a ferry. I think it's a big one, but it goes back and forth to Denmark. I think they called it like the Petra vessel or something like that. I used to watch it go out, and we'd go to run down to the beach because the waves that came in when the ship went out were sort of cool. But bomb story, it's a long one. It's a long story, but we will share it when the time is right. I've got a gentleman I met he was a religious leader for me when I was in my late teen to early 20s. He was an FBI director, like big, not like the top director, but like over a large portion of the FBI. Like he was the top guy over like the Exxon Valdez oil investigation and things like that. Man, he has some stories he could tell. He was telling us a story about where they went on a stakeout one time, and they're looking for this like, it's like a mafia type guy. It's major drug and gun criminal, and he's supposed to show up at the restaurant, and he doesn't show up. So all his guys that are there, the restaurant's like, look, you guys, drinks are on us, whatever, just order. And all the guys that he was with, except for him, were just like pounding him and got like sloshed. Some of them like under the table sloshed. And then like they're about to go home because he didn't show up, and it's like a couple hours later. And the dude walks in, and he makes the arrest all by himself because nobody else was sober enough to help. And the report from that one was interesting. So, like special agent in charge, it sounds like that. I don't remember his actual title. Director is like the top, but it's a cool guy. All right. Bomb story requires maps and graphics. I think you can find some newspaper clippings about it. Or you can do a FOIA request and get the police report, like I got. Let's see. All right, we've got a couple more minutes. Defendant's back, prosecutor's back. The lead investigator or lead officer is back, and the defense attorney's back. We've got two bailiffs. I don't know who the guy in the middle is. He's got a badge, so he must be with the court system somewhere. Little Stubby, I am a lucky man, definitely. No, jury selection is over. We're now going to have the opening instructions for the jury, and then we should have opening statements if both sides choose to give one. Red pen, we can't count that, right? We're only counting spits. Spit sunflower seeds, delicious, not a sponsor. My wife pulled off the best dates ever. Even after we got married, continued to date my wife. Love it. I recommend that as well. Date your significant other. Just because they tie the knot, doesn't mean you're off the hook for that. She pulled off some just absolutely incredible dates that required intricate planning, like packing bags and luggage and staging. Unbelievable stuff, and I'm just oblivious to it. I'm like, what? Huh? Why are we going there? Shouldn't we be going home? What about who's watching the kids? You lined up all that? That was me. And I'm like, do you want to go fishing? That's my contribution. Brett Bottoms, 22 months in the chat, no parole requested. OG on the jury. Brett, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Love it. You got a new profile picture, I think. I don't remember this one. I think you updated it. Is that your Halloween edition? Living Ghost. This is a lighter case, and we're taking a lighter case because it's a holiday week. There are a couple other trials going on right now, but a lot of courts don't like seating juries over a holiday. It's like you get to see your family on Thursday for Thanksgiving, but every other day we're going to show you some graphic pictures of a murder. Oh, judge is coming back. Here we go. Ricky C, good to have you. Allie G in the UK, member for 4 months, plus a little bit. Thank you for all you do in the mods as well. Allie, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Without which you were the previous.
You indicate you want to put something on the record.
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly. One additional stipulation that I want to bring to the court's attention in this case. There are stipulations that have been provided to the court in written form, and those stipulations are included in the jury instructions. But I just want to make sure and state for the record the stipulations that we've entered into. Number one, both parties are stipulating that the offense occurred in Warren County, Ohio. Number two, the parties are stipulating that Lebanon Correctional is a detention facility as defined in the ORC and is run by the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction. Number three, there is a stipulation that the defendant was in fact an inmate who was confined as defined in the ORC at Lebanon Correctional at the time this offense occurred. And then in addition to those factual stipulations, it's my understanding there's a stipulation as to the admission of the videos in this case. There is a surveillance video from Lebanon Correctional that the state's going to play during the testimony of its first witness. In addition, there is body camera footage from the corrections officer who's going to testify. And it's my understanding there's going to be a stipulation to the admission of those such that there would be no further need for foundation for their admission.
Okay.
Wow, this could be really fast.
That is correct, Judge.
Okay, very good.
Simply Nikki, congratulations on your early birthday. Well, congratulations early on your birthday on Friday.
No, Judge, I just want to make sure and put those on record.
Okay.
Thank you for 9 months
So
of
we'll
support.
bring the jury in.
I don't think we're going to have court on Friday. Little yawn from the judge. Well, that was a big one, actually. You will bring the jury, right?
You will bring the jury.
There you go. We're thinking of 1 day. Judge thinks 1 day, could be 2. But I'm thinking it's 10 now. I don't know, we'll probably, maybe closings tomorrow morning. Could be tonight. Our sound's not working. They should be. Try it again. Maybe I've got the audio turned down.
I'm not a cat.
See, it's working. The judge has an earbud in, which I think is audio from the courtroom. We are officially counting mentions of the word spit or its variants. So spittle would count. Saliva would count. Expectorating would count. And a loogie would probably be in there as well.
You can be seated.
Hush.
Bodily fluid, yeah.
All right, step 2, opening statements. I will remind you at the end, I'll remind you now, opening statements are not evidence. It's each attorney's opportunity to tell you what they expect the evidence to be. It's basically similar to a roadmap. They expect that they'll explain to you how this case will be presented and what the testimony or evidence will be. The state has the burden of proof. State will be going first each time. And Mr. Goodyear, you can proceed.
Thank you, Judge.
Here we go. Add a couple to the counter here right off the bat.
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. This case is actually a very straightforward case, and you heard about it to some extent during voir dire. I'll give you a little more information now. Bottom line is this case is all about the fact that Mr. Spells got angry, couldn't control himself, and spit in the face of a corrections officer. So on June 27th, 2024, Captain Diana Payne, she was a lieutenant at the time, she's since been promoted, was on duty at Lebanon Correctional And her job at the time was she was screening individuals entering into the dining hall. The way they do dining there is different groups go at different times, and if you come late or you're not with your right group, then her job is to deny you access, and then you move on and you have to go get some special permission to go into the dining hall. So in this case, that's exactly what she was doing. She was talking with prisoners about their ability to access the dining hall, and you're going to see in video form, you're going to see her denying people access to the dining hall who she knows are not supposed to be there. The defendant, Mr. Spells, approaches her, and she knows he's not supposed to be in the dining hall. She tells him, no, move on, no, move on. And after protesting for a second, he simply spits on her. Now, what I've described to you, I'm going to prove to you in basically 3 ways. Number 1, you're going to get to hear the testimony of Captain Payne. She's here today. She'll testify about what took place. And she'll tell you about what Mr. Spells did and the experiences she had with him. In addition, you're going to see 2 videos. There are 2 different types of video in this case. One is, there is, as I'm sure you're not surprised, throughout Lebanon Correctional, there are a number of security cameras that capture most areas, okay? And you're going to see the hallway, security camera showing the hallway, which is the area where this took place. Now, the security camera doesn't show the spitting, but does show something really important. It shows the fact that the defendant, I told you there are people walking in trying to get in the lunchroom and she was denying them access. Well, the defendant was already in there. He was already in the lunchroom. He leaves, has a casual conversation with another corrections officer, and then he sees what's taking place, walks directly over to Captain Payne, not needing to enter the dining hall. He just left the dining hall, and he begins to talk to her about wanting to enter, and then he spits on her. In addition to that video, you're going to see body cam video. So Captain Payne was wearing a body camera on her during the time this happened. In this body camera video, you're going to be able to see her interaction with all the inmates that are coming to the dining hall. She's denying them access, and then see her interaction with the defendant. I will tell you that the body camera moves a little bit, okay? So you have to watch closely to see the defendant spit. But I'll tell you, and you're going to have, once we get done with the case, you'll have all this back in evidence with you. You can watch the video as many times as you'd like to. I can tell you though, if you watch as she's denying him access, about the 3rd time, if you watch his mouth, you can see spit come out of his mouth, okay? In addition though, some evidence you're going to have is I have screenshots from the video itself, okay? And you'll be able to see very clearly he has spit in his mouth, and you see the spit being expelled from his mouth, all right? And then the third way that I'm going to be able to prove this to you is that we have a witness I mentioned earlier. Her name's Megan Fox. And as soon as Captain Payne was spit on, she walks into employee area, guard area, and she takes a brown paper towel and she wipes her face with that brown paper towel, and then she maintains that as evidence. That evidence is then taken from Lebanon Correctional to BCI, the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, where Ms. Fox is a forensic scientist, and she'll tell you that she does a test on these items, and she can say that what was on that paper towel was presumptive for being saliva, okay? So you have testing, you have the video, and you have Captain Payne's testimony. Now, ladies and gentlemen, what I am required to prove to you, and what the indictment filed against the defendant says, is that on or about the 27th day of June, 2024, in Warren County, Ohio, the defendant did, while being confined at a detention facility, with the intent to harass, annoy, threaten, or alarm, cause, or attempt to cause another to come into contact with, in this case, it's blood, semen, urine, feces, or another bodily substance. In this case, it's saliva, by throwing or expelling the substance at the other person. So all I have to prove to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that he caused or attempted to cause Even if he spits at someone and misses, it still counts. Cause or attempted to cause, saliva, come into contact with Captain Payne, and his intent was to annoy, abuse, or harass her. And I think when you look at all the evidence, consider the fact that he was already in the dining hall when he went to try and mess with her, and the video evidence you see today, along with the testimony and the scientific evidence, the state's confident you'll find the defendant guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Goodyear.
We're
Mr.
laughing here,
Guyman?
but I think it's actually very right. They should definitely prosecute this. This is assault. It should not be tolerated. Got to spit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this entire case really comes down to just a couple of seconds on a video. But those seconds matter because in Ohio, with this charge, harassment with violent substance requires specific intent. The charge isn't spitting on a corrections officer. It's harassment with a bodily substance. That means the state must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Mr. Spells acted with the purpose to harass, annoy, threaten, or alarm a corrections officer. It's not enough for them to show that he spit. So they have to prove the intent. You will see in the video, you'll see what happens. Everybody's going to have an opportunity to review that. The state's going to focus on whether or not Mr. Spells spit. This case isn't about whether saliva left his mouth. It's about if it did, then why, what was the purpose, what was the intent. And once you examine those seconds with the law, not assumptions, the evidence will show the state cannot meet its burden. Let me tell you what the evidence will show.
Are you going to stipulate
You'll
to
see
the
before
spittle?
Mr. Spells even appears, the correction officer in this case was already escalated. The video begins not with Mr. Spells, but with the officer. She's already loudly ordering around at least 2 other inmates, back to back, turning them away. Her voice is raised. Her commands are sharp. Her frustration is clear. And that is only what the cameras captured. We do not know how many tense interactions occurred beforehand, but we do know this: when Mr. Spells steps into view, she's already escalated. She's already elevated. She's agitated. She's already shouting, and that matters. Now, you'll have an opportunity to see how Mr. Spells was in the video and how he appears. When he walks into frame, you'll notice something immediately. He's calm. He's not, as the state suggested, coming at her or approaching her because he had just left. He's calm. He's not yelling. He's not aggressive. He's not moving towards her. He's not threatening her in any way. Certainly not angry and unable to control himself, as the state contends. He's simply asking questions politely because he's confused and trying to understand why he's being told to turn around. His arms are out, palms are up, universal posture of confusion, not confrontation. The officer does not slow down. She does not try to explain the situation. She's not de-escalating in any way. Instead, she continues to yell the same command: go, go, go. She's doing this to numerous individuals as they pass her, not once, not twice, continuously. The sequence here is key. The evidence is clear. The alleged spit takes place immediately before or as Mr. Spells begins turning, almost one right after the other. You'll see a split-second transition from him being confused to reacting and being in compliance. The officer yells, go. Javon's confused and asking questions. A brief moment takes place. The alleged spit occurs, and instantly, without pause, he turns exactly as he's ordered to do. He does not hesitate. There's no defiance. There's no refusal. No attempt to escalate in any way. There's no allegation of a second spit. There's no threatening words or actions. He simply obeys immediately, exactly as commanded. The instantaneous compliance is one of the most powerful pieces of evidence in this case. You'll see that on the video. As a person acting with purpose to harass does not obey the very officer that's supposedly intending to harass. Person acting with purpose to threaten does not react and then immediately comply with the commands. Purpose and obedience do not coexist in the same second. There's no history here either. There's no hostility, no aftermath. You're going to hear from the correction officer. She had told after she went into the office, after the alleged spit occurred, she told the investigators as well that there's 2 important things. One, she had never had any issues with Mr. Spells in the past. Not a single confrontation, no history at all. There's no motive. He said nothing afterwards, no threats, no insults, no aggression, nothing. Only complied. Someone who was intending to harass, threaten, or alarm a corrections officers wouldn't spit and then immediately go silent and compliant. They don't instantly obey. They don't stay silent. They don't follow their orders and stand there. Everything before, during, and after the moment contradicts the idea of purposeful harassment. Intent is the entire case here, and the state cannot prove it. Prosecutor may try to tell you spitting means he intended it, but the law requires proof of purpose, not assumptions. And what does the evidence actually show? A frustrated officer, a calm inmate asking questions, a confusing, chaotic moment, a spit immediately followed by total compliance is what the allegation is. There's no threats, there's no escalation, there's no history, there's no aftermath. There's just silence and obedience. None of that demonstrates criminal intent. In fact, it demonstrates the opposite. The law doesn't punish confusion. It doesn't punish misunderstanding. It doesn't punish reflex. It only punishes purpose. And the state cannot prove that purpose beyond a reasonable doubt. Given that, the only verdict consistent with the evidence in the law in this case, and I believe at the end of this case, after you've seen the video, if you've heard the testimony in this case, the state cannot prove Mr. Spell's intent. And after you've seen him comply instantly, you've heard that she's never had issues with him before, that he's never said anything afterwards, you will see the truth. This was a moment, split-second overlap, loud, emotional, confusing environment. Not a threat, not harassment,
And he
not
thought
intent.
he was supposed to
And
spit?
when the state cannot prove intent, the law requires one result, not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guyman. Call your first witness, please.
So, Mr. Guyman,
First,
public
I would call
defender.
Captain Payne.
Public defender. I'm pretty sure he's not putting his heart into this argument, although he did write a good opening there. Captain Payne, first one up. This trial is growing on me. It's just drip by drip. It's the jokes are there. The jokes are there, but it's. I think we're gonna like this one. I'm sorry. Keep me honest on the spit counter, please. Anything saliva, spit, spittoon, spittle related, it gets counted. So, and the defense attorney.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God. You may be seated.
It's sad nobody's there. Thou shalt not spit. The 13th commandment.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and spell your name for us.
Diana Payne, Dianna, Payne, Payne.
Okay. Can everybody hear? All right, do me a favor, if you don't mind. I'm having a little hard time hearing from over here, okay?
Okay.
The reason it matters is not only, of course, the jury's going to hear, but the court reporter takes on everything that's said, so make sure and speak up for me, okay? All right. So, ma'am, how are you currently employed?
I'm currently employed at the Lebanon Correctional Institution, and I'm currently a captain.
All right. And how long have you worked at Lebanon Correctional Institution?
I've been there over 20 years.
And obviously, you initially began as a corrections officer.
Yes, sir.
And over that period of time, how many times have you been promoted?
Twice.
Okay. So you went from corrections officer to
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant, and then from lieutenant to captain.
Yes.
Okay. And what is taken into account, or what do you do, or what is the requirement to become promoted?
You have to have experience as a corrections officer, a minimum of 2 years. To be promoted to a lieutenant, you have to have a clean record, of course, good attendance. I've also had points for being on special teams for years. I had 12 years in as a corrections officer when I was promoted to a lieutenant.
Okay. And what special teams? Tell us about that.
I was on the special response team for almost 16 years. STAR, which is a state tactical team, I was on that team for 11 years.
All right. And did you receive, in addition to the training you received when you initially became a corrections officer, do you receive additional training when you work on teams of this nature?
Yes, I also instruct unarmed self-defense. I'm an instructor in chemical munitions. I was an instructor in firearms. PR-24 MEB, I instructed that as well. Use of force, I instruct use of force.
Okay. So, and when were you promoted to captain?
2017.
All right.
Or to captain, August of this year. I was just promoted to captain.
Okay, because you were a lieutenant when this took place.
Yeah, a lieutenant was 2017. I was promoted to a lieutenant in 2017.
Okay. Now, when you initially became a corrections officer and then throughout your time as an officer, do you receive training on how to interact with inmates?
Yes, we do. De-escalation skills also is a big part of our job, to also try to de-escalate. And that's another, actually I'm also crisis intervention trained to deal with crisis.
Okay, crisis
Or for incarcerated persons who are in crisis.
Okay. And you provide that type of help?
Yes.
All right. So I think you mentioned that on June 27th of 2024, your rank was lieutenant.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, were you working on that day?
Yes, I was.
All right. And what were your general job duties as a lieutenant when you were working on June the 27th, 2024?
Our specific job duties are to maintain safety and security of the institution, first and foremost. We also supervise all the corrections officers that are on duty. We conduct unannounced round in every area of the institution on every shift. We conduct count. We respond to every signal that happens, which means like we have to respond to fights, assaults, any kind of planned use of force, any kind of problem that any CO might have in any area of the institution. They may call for a supervisor. I assist the captain with anything they need to do.
Okay.
We also, of course, call chow 3 times a day.
Tell us, if you would, well, first of all, have you only worked at Lebanon Correctional?
Yes.
Okay, so that's been your entire career?
Yes.
All right, and obviously that's located in Warren County, Ohio.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned you called chow. Tell the jury, if you would, what are the rules around people, inmates going to eat, and how is that done?
Okay, so we're responsible for feeding over 1,500 incarcerated persons 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I believe this was dinner. So we have to ensure that all inmates come down to eat, and then they have to leave the chow halls and go back to their respective housing units. Okay, they're allotted 10 minutes to exit their cell and come down to chow. So we may have 200 offenders coming to chow and 200 going back to chow. And we have to ensure that they're not circling back in the hallway. We have to make sure there's no fights going on in the chow hall. We have to make sure that nobody's jumping back in line in the chow halls.
Okay. So on June 27th, 2024, when the incident happened we're here about, were you screening individuals who were coming into chow, as you said?
Yes.
Okay. Now, how
Is she the one that got spit on, or was it Megan Fox?
Well, first of all, let me ask this. What are things that would make you tell someone if they're approaching the dining hall, what are things you would tell them, no, sorry, you need to leave?
Okay, so we call 1 block at a time. They have 10 minutes to eat. I call the next block. That next block starts coming to chow. And then when I see one from the block that's not that block, say J block's coming to chow. If I see someone coming down that's not of that block, they get turned around. Because they have either they're out of place and they have not eaten yet, or they have already been afforded the opportunity to eat already.
Okay.
And they're late.
And how do you
if you're late, you don't get to eat.
Inform them of the fact that they are not within the rules? What do you do?
I challenge them. So here's, say this guy's coming down and he's not from the block that's supposed to be eating, and I turn them around. I said, sir, your block's already been called. You have to return to your block. You've already been afforded the opportunity.
And do you normally say that in a forceful tone?
Maybe the first time, not necessarily, but if I have to repeat myself, I will. I might get a little forceful.
Okay, and why is that?
The reason being is we have, like I said, we have 1,500 offenders to feed, and we just have to, as safety reasons, we have to get them out, we have to get them in, we have to get them out, and if we allow people to linger too, it becomes a safety concern. They'll start fighting each other. So we really have to manage that movement. If we don't manage the movement, it could be a safety concern.
So you mentioned the number of inmates that have to be fed. How many corrections officers are there in that area controlling these inmates?
So in the chow halls, it's just myself. I was in dining hall 1, and there's 3 chow halls. So I'm watching dining hall 1, and I have an officer watching dining hall 2, another corrections officer watching dining hall 3, and I might have 1 floating. So with 3 chow halls, I might have 3 officers and myself.
And that's potentially at most 4 corrections officers trying to control 1,500 inmates.
Exactly.
Okay. Is part of using a forceful tone when dealing with inmates who are violating the rules a way to maintain control of the situation?
Absolutely.
Okay. And is that based on your 20 years of experience, is that something that you see as necessary to control a situation when there's that type of difference between the number of inmates and the number of corrections officers?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to... So, Captain Payne, at Lebanon Correctional Institution, are there security cameras around the facility?
Yes.
All right. And is there a security camera that shows the area of the chow halls as you described it?
Yes.
All right. And to your knowledge, was there a video on this day, June 27, 2024, that was created of the events that took place?
Yes.
All right. You know, at this point, I'd like to begin to play this video if the court would allow me to publish it to the
Yes.
jury. Okay.
Roll tape. Did I miss any spits? I think we're still at 30. Yeah, 1,500 to 4 is...
Okay.
The odds are not in your favor.
First, if you would, Captain Payne, tell the jury what they're looking at.
We should be able to
Okay,
see
so
this
they're
if the
looking
judge
at
will let us.
me standing in front of dining hall 1. So I'm ensuring people that are coming towards me are not circling back, that they're the block that's supposed to be going to chow. I'm also looking into dining hall 1. I have to ensure that everything is safe inside there, and then I have to make sure nobody's jumping in line also in that dining hall. Okay. And then we have dining hall 2. If you can see, it's labeled. There's an officer standing in front of dining hall 2. Okay, just behind me, you see the exit of dining hall 1. So that's the exit of dining hall 1. Behind him is the entrance of dining hall 2. Behind dining hall 2 is the exit of dining hall 2. And then behind that is the entrance of dining hall 3. And then the last door would be the exit of dining hall 3.
So the 3 doors closest to us in this video are entrance 1, exit 1, and then entrance 2, where the security guard, where the correction officer is standing.
Yes.
Okay. Now, have you had a chance to previously review this video?
Yes.
Okay.
Shortly after it occurred.
All right. Well, ma'am, I want to direct your attention to the entrance door to dining hall 2. Do you see what I'm speaking of?
Yes.
The entrance door?
Your Honor,
Yes.
we would like to see this
and
as
you
well.
see someone coming out of that door?
Well, not really, but...
Do you have a pointer? You should have a pointer.
She had, you, let me see. Yeah, I didn't.
So right there?
Yes.
Do you want it? Or?
Sure, that's fine, thank you.
Okay, we're going to need Greeners and
this
Nusky
is
to act
the
this
entrance door
out
to dining hall 2, correct?
for our
Correct.
viewing
And
pleasure.
before, thank you, before I started the video, if I remember correctly, this corrections officer was at the door alone. Is that correct? Let's watch it again.
When you say let's, can we also? Come on, Judge. Courtroom 4 would have shown us in a heartbeat.
There we go. Okay. So am I correct that when our video begins, the corrections officer is alone and now someone's coming out of that door?
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that is the entrance to Dining Hall 2.
That is the entrance. Yes.
Now, on this day, if you recall, or let me ask it differently, I'm sorry. Dining Hall 1 and Dining Hall 2, are those specifically designated for different cell blocks?
No.
Okay. So how does that work? How do I know
I
to go to
randomly
1 or 2?
split them up. I split up groups. I'll make, say, here comes the group. I'll put 5 of them in my chow hall, and then I'll block the entrance and make some go past me. And so I try to split people up. I decide which chow hall they go into.
Okay. And so part of that is groups don't get to congregate.
Exactly.
Right.
Safety, for safety reasons.
So when we see this person coming out, that person's already been inside Dining Hall 2, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, what, if you remember, what block was Javon Spells a part of?
He was in K block.
K block.
K.
Okay. And when this event took place, was K block coming for a meal, or had they already had a meal?
They were exiting, so they had already eaten. K King had already eaten.
Okay.
Yes.
So this person is exiting Dining Hall 2, having already eaten if they're a member of the K block.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in the foreground, we see you speaking with an inmate. What's happening there, if you recall? Let me play it a little further.
Oh, I can clearly see his K King tag. See it? You can see it in his right hand. It
Right.
said K on it, so
Uh-huh.
I was turning him around because he's from K block.
Okay. So you're turning him around from the dining hall because he should have already eaten.
Yes.
Okay. And is that basically one of the rules that you're required to enforce?
Yes.
If he's late for chow, then he has to be turned around.
Yes.
Okay.
Then he doesn't get to eat that day.
Now, so you've turned one individual around. Now we see this individual here. This is the one that's come already eaten in the dining hall 2, is that right?
Yes.
Do you recognize who that individual is?
Yes.
Okay, and who is that?
Mr. Spells.
Okay, so this is Javon Spells in the video. Do you see Mr. Spells in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Can you point him out and tell me what he's wearing, please?
Mr. Spells over there in a blue shirt and tie.
Everyone has to record reflect that she's identified the defendant?
Yes.
All right.
I'm going to need you guys to draw pictures of how you think this went down.
So now what is happening
Submit
here?
them to the burner phone.
We're not with Mr. Spells, with the other inmate.
The one in front of me,
Yes.
that looks like, is he K as well? Yes, he's K as well.
Okay. And then what is happening here with Mr. Spells?
Mr. Spells is also trying to go into my dining hall.
Okay. And we've already seen he already left the dining hall having finished,
Yes.
right? So you're continually, it appears, you're telling him over and over again, leave, leave,
Right, giving
leave.
him
Is he
directives.
complying?
He's not.
Okay. Do you recall what he was saying to you?
I do not recall what he
Okay.
was saying to me.
But bottom line is, you
Right.
ordered him on multiple occasions to leave.
To exit.
Because he was violating the rules and he didn't do
Right.
so.
Yes.
Now at this point, we see you take him into custody. Why is that?
Just before he turned away, he had spit on me. He had
Okay.
spit, and it made contact with my right cheek.
Okay. So the once he spit and it made contact with your face, then you immediately took control of him.
Yes.
All right. Now, Captain Payne, on that day, were you also wearing a body camera?
Yes.
Okay. And a body camera would have been positioned where on your uniform?
Center of my chest.
All right. And what does that body camera, when it's recording, what is it recording?
It's recording everything.
All right. Directly in front of you.
Even stuff
Directly
behind
in
me.
front of me. It's got a wide angle lens, so it records
Usually
quite a
we
lot
can see.
in front of me.
Okay.
This judge has not pushed the button to
And
let us
the
see.
body camera you had on that day, was it operational?
Yes.
And after this event occurred, did you take steps to ensure that that video had been maintained as evidence?
Yes.
All right. Now, may I publish State's Exhibit? And by the way, just to be clear, the USB I have here is State's Exhibit 1. So the video we just saw, the surveillance video from LECI, State's Exhibit 1B, and then State's Exhibit 1A is the body camera footage. And Judge, are you okay with me publishing that to jury at this point?
Yes. Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
What's the question you have?
But I'm saying if I'm explaining to you what's going on.
What's going on? You had your chance to get your tray. You chose not to.
I never did.
That's your fault. You had your opportunity.
Now, is that the video of the first gentleman we saw in the other video, your interaction with him?
Yes.
Okay.
Go on, get a pass. You're late. Go.
I got my ID.
Go get a pass then.
Okay. Now you've turned the other individual, second individual around, and then in the right-hand portion of our screen here, who is that?
Mr. Spells.
Go get a pass. You're late. You're late. You're late. You're late. Go. Go. Okay, King. Turning your guys around. Late. Do not write passes. Go. Go.
Now at this point, you asked him at least 4 times to leave. And is he leaving?
No.
Go.
And what happened at that point?
I heard it.
Just before he turned, he
Right.
spit.
Wait.
He spit and then turned away.
Okay, King. Turning your guys around. Late. Do not write passes. Go. 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 Hang on your back.
And is that what, the spit's what caused your reaction?
Yes.
You said it hit your right cheek?
Yes.
All right.
I need cuffs. Face the fucking wall. Face the wall.
Which wall would that be?
Fucking spit.
Spit on you.
Take him to the infirmary. Take him to the infirmary. This motherfucker just spit.
We're out. All right, I'm out of here. Where's spit?
On me?
Now, when you get spit on, obviously you've entered, this is kind of employee area, is
That's
that
our
right?
captain's office.
Captain's office, okay. And then, what is your training as to what to do once you get spit on?
So if we are to get spit on, if it's on an article of clothing, we are supposed to circle it, put it in an evidence bag, and it's collected for evidence. However, if it makes contact with your skin, we are to get a paper towel, wipe it off on the paper towel, place that paper towel inside a paper bag, and mark it as evidence with a contraband control slip.
Okay. Now, in the video earlier, we saw you grab Mr. Spells, place him against
The gate.
bars, and then he was handcuffed. When someone, using your rules about use of force, when someone spits on you, are you permitted to do more than what you did?
Yes.
Okay, what would you be permitted to do if someone spits on you?
I mean, we do secure them in handcuffs. That's definitely protocol. But that moment where I said face the gate, Like, if he made that little motion back towards me, I could have sprayed him with my OC spray in fear that he might spit on me again. But he
Spritz him with
complied
your
with my
spray
directives.
so he doesn't spit on you. Got it.
So is it fair to say use the least amount of force possible in the circumstance considering what had just taken place?
Absolutely.
All right.
There was no force.
All right, so you said your training is to get a paper towel and clean your face, right?
Yes.
Right here, he got pissed because I was turning him around, and he fucking spit.
Hold it, don't throw away that phone.
I'm not, I got it.
You got it on camera?
It should be right here at this fucking, I'm not standing at the door.
You got it on
Okay. So we see you take that brown paper towel, you wipe your face. After the video ends, what did you do with that paper towel?
Okay, so you saw me going towards the back room, and that back room in a drawer are paper bags. So then I immediately placed it in one of those paper bags
And what's your purpose in doing that?
to collect for evidence.
Okay.
So this is an assault, so.
So is it, once you place it in
Whoa.
a paper bag,
Objection?
is it maintained in some way securely so that
Yes.
it can be tested later?
So once I placed it in the paper bag, I write a contraband control slip that it went from me. Then it goes to the major contraband vault. It's secured in the major contraband vault until investigator Tabor took it, to possession of it.
So I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 2 for identification. You mentioned that you filled out a contraband control slip. If
Yes.
you would, identify for the jury what State's Exhibit 2 is, please.
This is a contraband control slip, and it has the institution, the incarcerated individual's name and number, and the paper towel. It says what's in the bag, this paper towel that utilized to wipe spells spit off.
Okay, is this the slip that you filled, a copy of the slip?
Wipe
Yes,
spells
this
spit.
is, it's actually a carbon copy, so the top copy was yellow, and this is the second copy.
Okay, is this a fair and accurate copy of the slip that you filled out that day?
Yes, that is
for
my
the
writing.
evidence you collected? And ma'am, the two videos we just saw, States 1A, which is your body camera, and States 1B, which is the surveillance video, do both of those fairly and accurately depict the events that took place on June 27th, 2024 involving Mr. Spells?
Yes.
All right. I'll show you a couple more things here. I'll show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 3 and number 4. And can we move from the video to the... It's good? Okay.
Now we're going to the Elmo, which we might also not see.
Show you what State's Exhibit 3 and 4. If you would just take a look at those, I'll have some questions. So, ma'am, we saw the video already from your body camera. States 3 and States 4, are those still photographs from that video?
Yes, they are.
So, Judge, and do these still photographs fairly and accurately depict Mr. Spells and what he was doing that day on June 27, 2024 when he spit on you?
Yes.
Your Honor, has to be able to admit these and publish them to the jury.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
So they're now showing a freeze frame of the spittle midair.
Is that Mr. Spells here
Yes.
in the photograph?
Yes.
Okay. And do you see something leaving his mouth in that photograph?
Yes, you see spit coming from his mouth.
It's usually where it comes from.
All right. And this is the spit you described went onto your face?
Yes.
All right. And then State's Exhibit number 4.
Guys, just draw a stick figure presentation of what you think is actually in the picture. Submit it to the burner phone. We may be showing some of them. Oh, Lebanon cameras are 4K. You know they're 4K.
States 4, ma'am, do you see? Is this again a fair and accurate depiction of him that day?
Yes.
And what is it you see coming from his mouth at this point?
The spit getting closer. It appears to be getting closer to my face.
You're doing
So
frame
stage
by
3,
frame.
is it fair to say, shows a ball of spit. Stage 4 shows the spit expelling out from his mouth.
Yes.
The spit being spat.
And is that what you experienced on June 27, 2024 with the defendant spitting on you?
Yes.
I'm preparing the brief summary that's suitable for this this case. Just give me a minute to finish it. Take some prep.
And prior to June 27, 2024, to your knowledge, do you ever have any interactions with the defendant, Mr. Spells?
No.
Okay. So no prior conflict of any kind?
No.
All right. In the 20 years that you've worked as a corrections officer at Lebanon Correctional, how many other times has someone spit on you?
None.
This is the first time
this
this
is
ever
the only
happened?
time.
Okay. And you mentioned in the video, you said that he was angry. Remember you saying that? What about your interaction with him that day made you feel like he was angry?
The fact that he was not listening to my verbal commands to leave,
Okay. And the fact that he
and then spit on me.
Okay. And you also said that you made mention that he intentionally spit on you.
Yes.
So did it appear from your observation that day that when he spit on you, it was his intention to spit on you?
Yes.
Didn't appear to be an accident, something of that nature?
No. Definitely not.
All right. All right. So maybe you mentioned that once you collected the paper towel, you placed it into evidence. I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 6. Just for the record, Judge, I'm going to open this with some scissors now. Here to, thank you.
We're opening the evidence bag with the paper towel. Oh my goodness. This is just bad. Oh, we're getting spitting images.
You would just reach in. State 6, for the record, is an envelope containing the brown paper towel. If you would reach in there, just take that out, ma'am.
Oh yeah.
State 6, is that the paper towel you used to wipe the defendant's spit off your face?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You just go back in there. Thank you.
Does it have the spit spot?
We have just one moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
There is a jury. This is a jury trial. 12 plus like 2 alternates.
Judge, I have no further questions.
All right, cross-examination?
Yes, Your Honor. Morning, ma'am.
Morning.
Let's go over the first video, the surveillance video, a couple things with you real quick. There's 3 dining halls, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And there's 3 separate corrections officers, 1 outside of each.
Well, as me as supervisor, I was maintaining 1, and then there was 2 more, 1 at 2 and 1 at 3.
Okay.
And then there's 1 floats and kicks people out. Yes.
Okay.
So 3 officers and myself.
And do you stay outside the hall while the inmates are eating?
Yes. We maintain security on the outside. That's why we have the 3rd one to float and to kick people out.
Okay. And you said there was, I think, well, the state had mentioned 1,500. Is that the total approximation of the inmates?
Approximately over
Spit
1,500.
Spit
Okay.
spot.
And how many are in any
Spit
given
spot.
hall at any given time?
Could be 300, 400,
In
300.
one room at a time?
Like we call a block 2, and then a block is coming. So there could be 200 to 300 in a block, and 200 to 300 going back
Okay.
from the chow halls.
In which block were you in again? Or what, I guess, which hall were you outside of?
I was
3?
outside of dining hall 1.
1? Okay. And so at the time, when Mr. Spells approaches you in the video, he's trying to walk into the hall that you were outside of, is that your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. And at that time, you had not known if he had eaten yet or not, is that correct?
I was not sure, but I've already turned around 2 K block that they've already exceeded their 10 minutes to come to chow.
Okay.
I had already called a different block, and J. John was coming to chow.
Okay. And you said, when you were testifying, you said that the inmates, you turned them away because they had already been afforded the opportunity to eat.
Yes, they have 10 minutes.
So if they don't make it in time, do they go out without eating?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to just direct your attention now to the body-worn camera video that you were wearing, and we just viewed. When the video begins, Mr. Spells isn't in the frame. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And before he appears, you're dealing with other inmates.
Correct.
Okay. I believe it was at least 2 inmates back to back.
2 other K King, yes.
Okay. And those interactions were tense?
I wouldn't say tense.
Okay.
I'm just more direct.
Your voice was raised during both those interactions, is that correct?
Yes, probably, because it's very loud in the hallway
Okay.
with all those incarcerated individuals talking.
You were giving loud commands?
Yes.
It's all them. I wasn't being
fast
the loud
commands?
one.
Yes.
Visibly frustrated?
I wouldn't say frustrated. It's part of my daily duties.
Okay. But you were repeating yourself to the inmates, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Were there any other inmates prior to those 2 that you turned around?
Were there any?
Other inmates that you turned around that day prior to those 2?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And approximation, how many?
Probably like, I don't know, upwards of 10 to 15.
Okay.
And it's a constant battle, especially if we have something really good in the chow hall, like if they're having chicken patties, or I can't recall what we were having that day. They like to turn around and try to get another one. And if we do allow that, then we run out of food. It becomes a problem, a bigger security problem.
The chicken patties.
So Mr. Spells, at least in the video, he was the 3rd inmate you had interacted with. Is that correct?
Give me some of your nuggets.
During just this block, yes.
Yeah, okay. And those other 2 inmates, you were telling them to turn around too. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I was thinking lobster, but no, chicken patty.
Okay. And so when Mr. Spells arrives in the frame, you're already yelling, "Go," correct?
Correct.
You say "go" repeatedly, and that's indicating to turn around?
She said something
Yes.
else as well.
Go back to your block.
And again, your voice was raised at that time?
Yes.
Okay. You were shouting quick commands?
Yes.
Okay. You don't pause, you don't slow down, just keep repeating the same thing?
Yes, because if I'm distracted for too long, then I'm distracting from this dining hall here, and I'm distracting from the hallway here. I have a lot to maintain at the time.
Okay. And you didn't ask him what he needed?
No.
Okay.
No.
You didn't explain why you were having him turn around, did you?
You've already afforded the opportunity.
Okay. And so again, you just kind of immediately started shouting, "Go."
Yes.
Okay. Over and over. Okay. And during this, I just want to draw your attention to Mr. Spell's demeanor. When he approached you, he wasn't yelling at you, correct?
No.
Okay. Wasn't cursing?
No.
Threatening you in any way?
No.
Okay. Wasn't calling you names?
No. But when you have to repeat yourself, you're going to get louder.
What'd you say?
When you repeat yourself, you do have to get a little louder. Sometimes
But
you have to be more stern for someone to listen.
Mr. Spells wasn't calling you any names? Is
No,
that correct?
no,
Okay.
I never said he would call me a name.
And he wasn't stepping towards you?
No.
Okay. He's just standing in place?
Right, he was given a directive to leave and he was refusing.
Okay. And at that time, his arms were out to his side. Is that correct?
Correct.
Like this? Palms facing up? Okay. It's not an aggressive stance?
No.
Okay.
No.
He seemed confused?
I don't know if he was confused. I don't think he was confused.
Okay.
I just think he wasn't listening.
But he was asking you questions, correct?
I don't know what questions he was asking. I couldn't understand him. And like I said, I don't have time to listen to every 1,500 complaints if they approach me in the middle of chow, because I have to maintain safety and security of the institution. There are other avenues they could go to if they have questions. Just that little office where 2 captains sitting in there they could ask. There's also informal complaints that they can write if they feel like they have a complaint.
If you didn't get to
Fair
eat,
to say you weren't listening?
I was not listening. I
Okay.
was giving him directives to leave.
And so you don't know if he was confused. You just know he had his hands out and out to the side. Okay. The
Yes.
questions, or when he was talking, was his voice raised in any way?
No.
It was calm?
Yes.
Okay. It's fair to say he was trying to understand what was happening?
I think he understands what was happening. He's just refusing my directives.
Okay. But again, you don't know why he had his hands up.
I don't know why he was refusing my directives, and I don't know why he had his hands up.
And you don't know what he was saying to you.
I don't know what he was saying.
Okay.
But I was telling him to leave, to go.
Yeah, you were repeatedly yelling "go," correct?
We got that
Correct.
part.
And that was indicating for him to turn around.
Yes.
Okay. And at no point did you change your tone?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have
You didn't try to explain to him again why you were wanting him to turn around?
No.
Okay.
have a screenshot of the
you
video
testified
now.
that you had de-escalation training as part of your training. That was a big part of your job. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Is shouting de-escalation?
Not necessarily shouting, but I'm giving directives, clean, clear directives. I mean, I could have pulled my OC on after one time, and I could have sprayed him for not listening to my directives, but I did not.
Would that
I just
have been-
kept telling him to go. So I did use the lesser alternative and using verbal commands rather than using force, because I could have used force.
Would spraying him, would that have been de-escalating?
I'm giving directives. I'm not de-escalating.
You mentioned that was a big part of your training, though,
It
correct?
is. Prior to use of force, especially, yes.
Okay.
But
You just weren't
I
using
did
it?
not use force.
Okay.
We've got a.
Is that the only time you're trained to de-escalate?
That's
Is if
definitely
you're
a
gonna
big
use
part
force?
of it, is to avoid force.
Is there part of it to not avoid a situation where you would have
This
to use
is
force?
not this is just a non-compliant offender. It's not listening to directives.
Okay.
We've got a
He did
screenshot of the
comply,
video.
correct? He turned around.
I have to show you.
Turned
We're
Oh,
around.
going
he
to keep the
spit
video.
and then turn around. Then he understood what to do after he spit somehow. He
Okay.
knew what I meant right after he spit
There it is.
on me.
This
And
is the.
The alleged spit that you're talking about happened in the middle of you shouting "go" repeatedly.
This is
Yes.
Okay.
how it happened.
And again, at this point, he had his hands up.
Freeze frame.
Yes.
He's trying to communicate with you.
Bad Mouse Final. Thank you very
Yes.
much for this
You don't know what
drawing.
that was.
No, I don't know what he was saying.
And immediately after the alleged spit, Mr. Spells begins turning around.
He spit and then he started to turn around.
Yeah, it's immediately after the alleged spit occurred. Okay.
The spits are coming so fast.
Immediately before that, the alleged spit, he's not saying anything to you.
I like the alleged spit.
No.
Okay. And after, again, as he starts turning around, he doesn't hesitate. He just turns around. Correct?
Yes, he spits and then turns around.
Okay. And you tell him to put his hands behind his back?
Yes.
He does.
Yes.
Okay. No refusal?
No refusal.
Okay.
He did turn towards me after when I was trying to place him in cuffs. I had already cuffed somebody up, probably for the same thing. Not for spitting, but for not wanting to leave. So my cuffs were already on somebody else. So when this happened, so I had to get cuffs from somebody else. And while I was waiting for cuffs, he made that little brief turn, which I told him to get back on the wall, which I could have used force there, which I did not. I gave him directives to turn back around, and he listened.
We've got another picture
You're
coming.
saying you could have used force when he was in handcuffs?
No, I didn't cuff him yet. And I had him on the wall. I was waiting for handcuffs because I had already used mine, and they were already gone. So I had him on the wall with just his hands.
Where
And
were your
He made
cuffs?
that motion back
Hang on.
towards me.
Sure. And
Which-
at that time he made that motion, you were yelling
And I told him
commands
to
him.
face the wall, you know,
Oh.
that's when I gave him a directive to turn his head back, and he did listen.
So he complied.
Yes,
And prior to that, you were putting his hands behind his back or starting to cuff him.
yes.
Okay.
I placed his hand behind his back, waiting for a pair of handcuffs.
And you were yelling commands.
Yes,
Okay. Is that possibly why he was turning around? You were speaking to him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And he turns around immediately after, again, the alleged spit occurs, correct?
There's another spit.
Yes.
Okay. Again, there's no argument.
No.
He didn't say anything to you at all
No,
after the alleged spit?
No, he did not.
Okay. He simply obeyed your command?
Yes.
Okay. And
Is it possible you thought you meant for him to spit? I don't know
and
where
I
you're
know
going
some
with
of this sounds, I guess, repetitive, and I guess to a degree it is. I just want to make it very clear. So both before, during, and after the alleged spit, he doesn't raise his voice, correct?
No.
He doesn't threaten you?
No.
Doesn't insult you?
No.
Okay. There's no
Just
second
refused
spit?
directives.
There's no second spit?
No aggression of any kind?
No.
Okay.
There was
And then
definitely
he
spit.
continues to
You can
follow
see
your
it.
instructions after the alleged spit?
Yes.
Okay.
This is pretty much how it happened, we think.
Okay. And you've testified that you had no issues with Mr. Spells in the past, is that correct?
No.
Okay.
Thanks.
Did you have any, did you even remember him at all?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
So you had no reason to believe that he would have any reason to harass you?
No.
Okay.
I just think he spit in frustration.
Okay. And that was your interpretation, correct?
Yeah, he spit. He was clearly mad at me.
But, well, you said clearly mad at you, but
I mean, for someone to want to spit on somebody else.
you didn't base it on anything he said, right?
No.
Okay. But again, there's no threat or aggressive posture of any kind.
No.
Okay. No attempt to escalate.
No.
And you hadn't had any history with Mr. Spells at all.
No.
Okay. So it's fair to say your perception was influenced by your own perception or own frustration?
As far as
Well, how you viewed the alleged spit and what his intention was.
The alleged spit.
yeah, he spit out of frustration. He spit because he was mad at me for turning him around.
He was spitting mad.
That was my perception.
And would you agree that your own perception is not the same as knowing what his intent was?
I don't know what his intent was. No, I don't know what's going in his mind.
Of course. Did you ask him why?
Why?
Well, you said he spit on you. Did you ask him why he spit?
No.
Did anybody ask him?
I wanted him removed from my presence as quickly as possible to de-escalate the situation.
Okay. So you don't know why he spit,
I
but
do not know why he spit, right? Because only my perception that he was frustrated. He would have to tell you why he spit.
She's spinning in her chair. Spinning in her swivel chair.
and you can only really describe what you saw. Is that correct? Because you can't get in his mind.
Right.
Okay. And what you saw was a calm man, correct?
Yes, refusing directives.
Asking questions.
Refusing my directives.
And can she answer the questions I'm
Yes.
asking her? We
Judge,
get
I'd actually
she's-
object. I think this is about the 6th time he's asked these
Yeah,
questions.
this is getting.
I agree. I mean, I'm not trying to limit your cross-examination, but repetition can go too far at some point.
That's fine, Your Honor, but I understand that, and I'll move on with that, but she's also not asking my question. She just keeps throwing in, we understand her position, that he refused her directives. I don't know why it's got to be added to every single question, as far as every single answer to my questions.
She's answering the questions and it's nothing improper about the answer. So I'm not going to.
Understood.
You can spit in anger, you can spit in defiance. Don't think you can spit in love.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you. Redirect.
Just one question, Judge, briefly. Captain Payne, was there anything unusual about the way you interacted with Mr. Spells that day versus the way you've interacted with any number of inmates over 20
Oh,
years?
this won't look good.
No. It's the exact same way as the set two prior to that, and they know what it is. They try it all the time. They try to come back and eat, and I tell them to go. They're like, oh, just like the one guy, like, oh, you got me. I'll go back to my block.
Right. We saw 2 examples here, and I assume this has happened many, many times over 20 years.
Yes,
But you have been spit on one time.
exactly.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
How many times?
Very briefly, Judge.
Where?
Yes.
Yeah. You had stated that inmates try to go back and eat all the time, is it correct?
Yes.
But you weren't even aware in this day, you weren't in the block that Mr. Spells had allegedly already eaten it, is that correct? Okay.
No, I time.
So you don't know if he actually ate or not?
If you notice, the incarcerated individual right before him was from J. John. That means I called them. They take about 8 minutes to get down there. So, you know, and his block was called before that block. So there was plenty of time.
But you're not aware, I understand you're saying his block was called, but you're not aware whether or not he ate, is that correct?
No, I'm not aware.
Okay. Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you.
John, thank you very much for 5 gifted memberships.
With anyone until the trial is over.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excuse.
Judge, say we call Megan Fox.
Here's Megan Fox.
How long do you think she'll take?
It would go into the noon hour, Judge.
Okay, let's just take a break. Brandy needs some time to go over some things with you. So please be back ready to come back into the courtroom at 1 o'clock.
Not the
Remember the
Megan Fox.
admonition that you can't discuss this case with anyone.
Wouldn't
All
it be
right.
funny if she looked just like one of the Megan Foxes we know? I don't think it is. I don't think it's the same at all. But might have to let Megan Fox know that her doppelganger is here. So I have a summary for your convenience once they call a little break here.
Anything from the state before we break?
No,
Anything,
thank you.
Mr. Guyman?
No, Judge, did you say 1 o'clock?
I'm sorry?
Did you say 1 o'clock when you want us back?
1 o'clock.
Thank you.
We're going to take lunch. So here, if you've missed it thus far, first of all, we are up to 84 on the spitometer. Spitometer? I think it's spitometer. Here's the summary. The summary as best I can. I had to write this out because it's a little bit tricky. The state says inmate Spells spewed saliva at Officer Payne during a simple skirmish over second helpings of sustenance. A sample of the supposed spittle was secured and submitted to the state scientist Megan Fox, who scrupulously scrutinized the suspicious spittle sample. Her sophisticated scientific scrutiny conclusively confirmed Spell's slimy secretion was indeed saliva. Spell's sordid spitting spectacle now stains Spell's record with a sinister new charge, surely prolonging his stay in the slammer. I think that's pretty much how it goes. I think that's the whole case in a nutshell. I can't say it 1 time slow, let alone 2 times fast. Tell you what, I'll put it in chat, and if one of you thinks you can say it without messing up, please phone in. You'll have to copy and paste it out of chat here really quickly. Hold on 1 second. I think I spelled everything right. Hopefully I don't have any mistakes. Okay. Oh, it's too long. It's too long. I have to cut it at Megan Fox. Okay, so nobody talk for just a second. Here's part 1. And now I need to get from Megan Fox to there. Copy. Here's part 2. Let's go to get from, there are 3 parts in this one. Saliva right there. I think I messed it up. And here's part 3. Okay, you got your 3 parts. You have to copy and paste that into Notepad. If you think you can rattle that off with, I know, fix anything that I made a mistake on there. It's been a while since I've had my writing graded, so Red Pen, go easy on me. If you think you can read that off without tripping over your own 2 feet, or your tongue in this case, please do give us a call. I'd like to have somebody do this and make it sound right. I hope the phone rings. I want to forget something. It does, Barb, it sounds like, at least Defense is making it sound like there's a chance that he didn't get to eat. Laura is already working on the emoji version of the story. I had a hard time doing copy pasting that much. It's a lot. It's a lot. Was this the post? No, I haven't posted that one, Angela. I'm sorry. It's every time I read that post, it's a depressing post, and I don't mean for it to be depressing. Or it sounds like I'm complaining or something, and I just want to fix it so it doesn't sound that way. All right, the emoji is a work in progress. I would call in and say it, says Jackie Ferrara, but my husband would surely put me in a home. When he heard that, he already thinks I'm crazy. Ask ChatGPT to change the tone. Oh man, this is funny. You guys are hilarious. You can't make this spit up. Great pictures, by the way. Those 2 images, one through I think Bad Mouse Vinyls. The drawing you had on that one was just absolutely great. I think that's on, is it on 1? Let me show that drawing one more time. Let's get it over here. Okay. Bad Mouse Vinyls. This is an amazing little drawing here. Put it on the big screen. Turn that off. You've got the piles of food, the chicken patties by the dozen. You've got the guard saying, "I said no." You've got the defendant saying, "I'm hungry, please feed. This is BS." Arms at his sides. You've got the spit in the air. You've got a lot of unhappy people. Obviously, we're in the correctional facility with the bars on the door. Then it goes down to spit dripping with a paper towel. That muffer. Spit at me, get him, and then Mr. Spell's locked up. So this is pretty much how it happened. That's the whole video that you missed, guys. It was that. All right. That's a good one. And then Red Pen gave us this almost realistic version of the same thing, with the spittle also frozen in air, so to speak. That looks like a llama spit if I've ever seen one. That's llama spit, or camel spit maybe. But I tell you, this case is going to be a good one. I'm sorry we don't get to see the video. I really am sorry. We are on lunch break right now, so we're going to take a little bit of a lunch break. I'm hoping UPS shows up because they have a delivery today. It's supposed to be here by like 1 o'clock. So, let's see where I don't know where I'm going here from this. Oh, I need to fix that. That's why. All right, we just need music. That's it. Just need music, and we can wrap things up. Do we know how much time he's potentially facing? Because this is a felony, this could be like 5 to 10 years on his sentence. It's serious. This is frowned on, and the reason why is because it's a way to communicate diseases. Dangerous diseases can be communicated through spit. That's why, and it's just gross. That's probably the better reason. It's just gross. Anyway, frustration equals spitting. Chair or cables? Computer. It's a computer. So, are we portaling? Yes, I haven't made it yet though. So that's probably a great suggestion for me to make the portal. I have to make it. I can't portal this time. Give me 5 minutes after it's done. I have to stop this one so I can just copy the first one. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe. We go live again at 12:45, so in about 45 minutes from now. Faster than you can say spit spot. We'll be back before you know it. And honestly, we'll have the new placeholder up in just a minute. I just have to end this one before I'm able to duplicate it. Otherwise, I have to start from scratch and make the whole placeholder. And that's no fun. So we'll see you on the flip side. Thank you very much, Lois, for that. Be good to each other. Have a great lunch. We'll see you in a little bit. Happy Monday, by the way. Bye-bye.